Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles. Chapter 48-33. Yes, great sage. The group of little peacocks chuckled and chattered around the Fire Phoenix King. The Fire Phoenix King looked at these cute little peacocks and smiled slightly. She was very touched by the peacock mother's indulgence of the little peacocks. The nine-colored halo condensed and the Fire Phoenix King's demon body appeared. She saw the Fire Phoenix King at a glance and was not surprised. She said meaningfully, "Fire Phoenix King, where did you go earlier? My demon realm has not seen such a lively scene for nearly 1,000,000 years. It's really a pity that you didn't see it." Sigh. The Fire Phoenix King did not hide it from the Fire Phoenix King and sighed. There are some things that the Rapid Cherry Grand Sage is not convenient for other demon spirits to know. So I can only do it for her. However, the Rapid Cherry Grand Sage has already told me about the excitement of that day. TSK. The Fire Phoenix King smacked her lips and said, "That's so intimate. What happened? A great sage of the original clan has no confidants. Why did he not let other demon spirits go but let you, a great sage of the Phoenix clan, go? What happened to the Peacock Palace?" While the Fire Phoenix King was mocking the Fire Phoenix King, she also noticed the strangeness around her and asked curiously. "Two great sages." The little peacocks hurriedly reported, "Just now, a human great sage and another great sage of the Phoenix clan came over. When they entered the Peacock Palace, they became like this. Namo Maitreya Buddha, Namo Maitreya Buddha, Namo Maitreya Buddha." As the little peacocks were talking, the sky was filled with Buddhist chants. Then, layers of Buddhist light emerged from the Peacock Palace again and spread toward the canopy of the inverted Bodhi tree. At the same time, Buddhist light came out of the canopy and fell into the other lotus-shaped clouds. In the blink of an eye, the entire Peacock Palace was filled with Buddhist light again. However, this time, the Buddhist light was different from before. Not only was it indifferent, but it was also very lively. Between each ray of light, there seemed to be a Maitreya Buddha sitting in it. This Fire Phoenix King didn't understand Buddhism, but he could feel the difference in the Buddha's light. As the Maitreya Buddha appeared, countless heavenly flowers, fairies, and dragons appeared in the sky. Everyone knew something was happening in the Peacock Palace. "Hurry up and leave." The colored Phoenix King was worried about Holy Mother Peacock and urged her. Flapping her wings, she rushed toward the Peacock Palace faster than a shooting star. When Namo Maitreya Buddha walked to the front of the praying mat suddenly disappeared, and all the Buddha's light disappeared. At the same time, the Bodhi tree behind the praying mat, the Buddhist light inside the Peacock Palace, and the Buddhist light outside the Peacock Palace were all annihilated. Holy Mother Peacock was taken aback. "Maitreya Buddha of the world, why? Why is this happening?" The Maitreya Buddha of the world ignored her and lowered his head to look at the praying mat that had lost its Buddhist light. He frowned as if he was thinking about something or hesitating. However, it was only a moment before the Maitreya Buddha of the world took the last step and stood on the praying mat. "Namo Maitreya Buddha." A thunderous Buddhist chant sounded. A joyful Buddhist light, a joyful heavenly flower, and an excited heavenly dragon suddenly emerged from the futon. They spun rapidly around the golden Buddha statue of Maitreya Buddha. Streaks of golden light formed the shape of a swastika. The Maitreya Buddha of the world placed his hands in a mudra in front of his chest. His eyes were full of compassion as he looked at the void. He seemed to be able to see through time and space as well as the void of all realms. He said, "Where there is light, there is Buddha. Where there is Buddha, there is a heart. Where there is Buddha in the heart, there is a Buddhist kingdom in the world. Before me, there should be no Buddha. After me, there is no end to Buddha. In this world, only I am supreme. Namo Maitreya Buddha. Namo Dipankara Archaic Buddha, Namo Amitba Buddha, Namo Maitreya Buddha." In the sky, 3 Buddhist chants were born from heaven and earth. The Maitreya Buddha of the world slowly sat down. Swish. The Buddhist light, Buddhist chant, heavenly dragon, heavenly flower, and even the Maitreya Buddha of the world's phantoms rushed into the void, rushed into the space, and rushed into the Bodhi tree. The Peacock Palace was lit up again. The Buddhist light rushed past the Maitreya Buddha like a tide. The Maitreya Buddha statue of the Maitreya Buddha slowly became full, and a benevolent Bodhisattva statue appeared in the Buddhist light. Namo Maitreya Buddha. The Maitreya Buddha of the world was happy. She knelt in front of the Maitreya Buddha of the world and said respectfully, "Disciple greets the world supreme." The Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme smiled and said the word Chien. Then, he raised his hand and the word Chien turned into a Buddhist light and fell between the Maitreya Buddha of the world's eyebrows. Seeing the word Chien flashing, the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme chanted, "Then the world supreme will enter nirvana. Lie down and announce it to the public. I wish to enter nirvana today. I don't see Ananda and Maha Kasyapa. Come with the language. I won't see you again. Even if the worried wave pair rises to the sky. Then the Buddha mother will hear this. With joy in the heart. Return to the sky. Before reaching the sky. Stand in the void. With compassion in the heart. Cry out loud. Heaven and earth shook. Tears fell like rain. The birds in the clouds all cried. All love will have parting. What is Tathagata, Nirvana Sutra Buddha? The Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme finished chanting and said, "This is the Maitreya Sutra of the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme, which is suitable for you to cultivate. Today, there is no Buddhist light in the 10,000 demon realm, no river of faith, and no path of reincarnation. Therefore, although you have the merit of welcoming the Buddha's Buddhist light, you can't achieve the Buddha fruit for the time being. When my golden body descends and the Buddhist sect of the 10,000 demon realm is established, you can become the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme." Amitba, Amitba. The Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme was full of joy and said with a smile, "When I learned about the path of Buddhism, I immediately knew this joy and knew that I could be greatly satisfied in the Buddhist light. But for hundreds of thousands of years, there was no progress in cultivation and the Buddhist light became an empty shell. Today, with the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme as the light of the road, I will follow step by step and let my Buddhist light spread throughout the 10,000 demon realm." Xiao Hua. Seeing the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme and the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme talking, Huang Tong was puzzled and asked in her heart, "What's going on? Is this praying mat Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme? Why did he have a vision when he touched this praying mat? The words he said just now. What did he mean?" Xiao Hua's face did not have any special joy and was even a little worried. When he heard Huang Tong's question, he replied in his heart, "This praying mat does not belong to the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme. If there is no accident, it should be under the Shakyamuni Buddha when he had an epiphany under the Bodhi tree to create the Buddhist sect. Therefore, this praying mat has its own Buddhist light, and it is the first Buddhist light. It contains the foundation of the Buddhist sect, the origin of the Buddhist sect. If the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme obtains this praying mat, his future achievements will be limitless. As for what the world supreme said, it is similar to what the Shakyamuni Buddha said that day, but at that time, the Shakyamuni Buddha said it to the entire world, and the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme said it to the 10,000 demon realm. They are not the same. Then. You seem to be very worried. Huang Tong said curiously, "Could it be that the Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme should not say this? The Maitreya Buddha of the world supreme said this, and it corresponds to the previous great wish, there is nothing inappropriate." Xiao Hua replied. "I am worried about the Shakyamuni Buddha. That day in the Thunder Temple in the Pure Land world, the Mahavairakana Buddha of the world supreme had already said in advance that Lu'er gave up the Buddha fruit of the future Buddha and went to the west to seek scriptures, possibly for the Shakyamuni Buddha. At this time, the Shakyamuni Buddha's praying mat actually appeared in the 10,000 demon realm, then. What about the Shakyamuni Buddha? Where is he? Could it be that he has encountered some difficulties? How is that possible? Huang Tong said with a smile, the Shakyamuni Buddha is the founder of the Buddhist sect. Why is it impossible? If there is a Buddha, there will naturally be a Tao ancestor. Similarly, the Holy Light world also has the Holy Mother. Xiao Hua replied faintly, the Buddha will also encounter difficulties that cannot be overcome. Then what should we do? Huang Tong was a little worried for the Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme. Xiao Hua shrugged and said, how would I know? I am not going to the Buddhist kingdom, these things are for the Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme to worry about. The most important thing for us now is to find the space passage back to the Dawn Rain continent. As he spoke, Xiao Hua looked out of the Peacock Palace and said meaningfully, the two great sages of the Phoenix clan came really quickly. You are now infamous, who dares to ignore you wherever you go? Huang Tong sneered, they are afraid that you will attack the Holy Mother of the Peacock. When Xiao Hua looked up, the Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme naturally noticed the situation outside the Peacock Palace. He stood up and said, I have yet to descend from the Buddhist kingdom, so it is not good for me to appear here. Otherwise, after I leave, I am afraid that it will be disadvantageous to you. Thank you for your mercy. The Holy Mother of the Peacock smiled and said, however, there is only the Buddhist light in my heart and nothing else. Dharma needs to be cultivated, but the Buddhist kingdom is not. The Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme replied, we still have to be careful when we enter the world. Disciple obeys the World Supreme's orders. The Holy Mother of the Peacock stood up and looked at the Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme. Xiao Hua took out the Kunlun mirror and hurriedly said, World Supreme, this Buddhist treasure is a gift from disciple to you, please accept it. Namo Maitreya Buddha. The Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme nodded with a smile and said, this item is very useful to me. However, I wonder where the Wisdom King obtained this Buddhist treasure. The Holy Mother of the Peacock did not dare to be negligent and hurriedly said, this disciple accidentally entered the Dawn Rain continent and obtained it from the ruins of the Buddhist sect. I see. The Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme kept the praying mat and stepped into the Kunlun mirror with lotus flowers. He said, this matter should be explained to the Guanyin Bodhisattva. I am going to meditate. As the light pillar above the Kunlun mirror rushed out, the Maitreya Buddha of the World Supreme's figure disappeared from the Peacock Palace. Chapter 48-34. Farewell, World Supreme. Holy Mother Peacock bowed respectfully and waited for the Maitreya Buddha to enter the space. Although there was no longer a praying mat in the Peacock Palace, the Buddhist light was like the source of living water. It was still flickering between the Bodhi trees. Good. Divine Mother Peacock was happy. The Buddha's golden body slowly disappeared and returned to its peacock demon form. Xiao Hua kept the Kunlun mirror and revealed his transcendence golden body. At this time, Divine Mother Peacock saw the Kunlun mirror in Xiao Hua's hand and said in surprise, Bodhisattva, is that the Kunlun mirror in your hand? Xiao Hua raised the Kunlun mirror and said with a smile, I heard that this item is called the Kunlun mirror. As for whether it is an ancient divine item, I don't know. After keeping the Kunlun mirror, Xiao Hua asked, I came today to ask Divine Mother, where is the space passage that you used to go to the Dawn Rain continent? Did you go to the Dawn Rain continent with your real body or your clone? How did you return to the 10,000 demon realm? It's a long story. Divine Mother Peacock smiled and looked outside the Peacock Palace. She said, if Bodhisattva wants to ask about the Buddhist ruins, I will tell you about my experience there first. Then I will tell you about the space passage in detail. After all, the two great sages of the Phoenix clan are still waiting outside the Peacock Palace. Okay, then tell me about your experience in the Buddhist ruins. Xiao Hua's heart sank and he nodded. After Holy Mother Peacock briefly explained the matter of the Buddhist sect ruins, she nodded at Xiao Hua. She spread her wings, and a colorful brilliance rushed out of the void. She then flew behind the palace door, and said loudly, "I'm sorry for making the two great sages wait outside the palace. It's really a sin." "Huh, it's okay." Fire Phoenix King and Colorful Phoenix King's voices came from outside the palace. They laughed and said, "We heard that the great sages of the human clan and the Phoenix clan are coming, so we came to visit. We didn't send a message in advance." "No wonder, Divine Mother." Xiao Hua and Huang Tong stood in the Peacock Palace and watched the two great sages of the Phoenix clan fly in. Fire Phoenix King's eyes fell on Huang Tong and an indescribable innate hostility arose involuntarily. She said, "At the beginning of the primordial age, when the chaos was just beginning. Clear and light ascended into the sky, thick and heavy, and it fell into the ground. The sun and moon were bright, the stars were revolving, and all living things were growing. Male and female phoenixes, when heaven and earth intersect, 9 types of phoenixes are born: golden phoenix, rainbow phoenix, fire phoenix, snow phoenix, blue phoenix, peacock, great rock, thunderbird, and great gale. I wonder what kind of demon spirit the Phoenix Sage is." Fire Phoenix King. When the colored Phoenix King heard this, she was also displeased. She reminded him in a low voice, "This is the great sage of the Phoenix clan, Huang Tong, not Feng Wu." "Huang Tong? Hee, that's funny. You're from the Phoenix race, so why do you have the surname Huang?" Fire Phoenix King mocked. Fire Phoenix King wanted to provoke Huang Tong, but before he could finish, Colorful Phoenix King laughed coldly. "Fire Phoenix King, what do you mean? Could it be that there are only 9 types of phoenixes in this world? Don't the other phoenixes have any origins?" When King Fire Phoenix heard this, she knew that something was wrong. She only disliked Huang Tong and had forgotten about King Colorful Phoenix. Although there was a Rainbow Phoenix among the 9 types of phoenixes, the Rainbow Phoenix King was a Rainbow Phoenix after all. It wasn't part of the 9 types of phoenixes. This. Fire Phoenix King hesitated and looked at Colorful Phoenix King awkwardly. She didn't know how to answer. "Why are you hanging around the great sage of the Origin clan every day?" Colorful Phoenix King said coldly. "You didn't learn anything good, but you did learn a lot about jealousy. Do you think that the profound Star Grand Sage can't see through your thoughts? He knows that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage is using you, so he doesn't care about you and didn't chase you away." "What are you talking about?" Fire Phoenix King was furious. "What am I talking about?" Colorful Phoenix King laughed coldly. 2 great sages of the Phoenix clan appeared in the 10,000 demon realm. "Where did you go? Don't you want to come out and meet them? When did the Phoenix clan become so famous in the 10,000 demon realm?" The primordial spirits of the Great Ape King and the Rainbow Lion King were both devoured by the Phoenix Sage. Even the profound Star Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage have to be careful when they see the Phoenix Sage. You actually dare to compare yourself with the Phoenix Sage. If the Phoenix Sage didn't lower herself to your level, she would have killed you long ago. Now you have the nerve to ask me. Fire Phoenix King wanted to retort, but her face turned hot when she heard the last few words. Although Colorful Phoenix King's tone was sarcastic, her last few words were to smooth things over for Fire Phoenix King. She was trying to excuse Fire Phoenix King's recklessness at the beginning. Hee. Huang Tong's temper was not like Xiao Hua's. She had always been intolerant. When she heard that Fire Phoenix King dared to challenge her, she became impatient. She flapped her wings and was about to attack. At this moment, when she heard Colorful Phoenix King trying to smooth things over, she retracted her wings and laughed coldly. "Since Colorful Phoenix King has spoken, I won't lower myself to your level. You're already a great saint of the Phoenix clan, yet you're still so narrow-minded. It's no wonder that the Phoenix clan is not thriving in the 10,000 demon realm. You. Fire Phoenix King was embarrassed and ashamed, but when Huang Tong said this, her anger rose again. She opened her mouth to shout. But Divine Mother Peacock smiled and said, "Great saints, please don't argue. Those who can cultivate to the saint rankings all have great opportunities and perseverance. Although bloodline and background are related, it has a lot to do with one's hard work." Didn't Fire Phoenix King just say that? Among the 9 types of phoenixes, there is no colorful Phoenix King, but colorful Phoenix King can still be listed on the saint rankings. Among the 9 types of phoenixes, there is also the name of Peacock. But I'm still very far away from becoming a great saint. Indeed. Colorful Phoenix King did not dare to let Fire Phoenix King speak. She hurriedly said, "There are many great saints in the 10,000 demon realm, but there are very few with pure bloodline." At this point, Colorful Phoenix King looked at Huang Tong again and changed the topic. She asked, "Phoenix Saint, I remember that day near the Gale Abyss, you told the great saints of the human clan that you wanted to leave the 10,000 demon realm. Why? Why did you suddenly come to my Phoenix sacred world today?" Hee. Huang Tong glanced at Fire Phoenix King with a face full of disdain. She said, "Of course we want to leave the 10,000 demon realm. But we haven't found a way to leave the 10,000 demon realm. So today, we came to the Peacock Palace to ask about the spatial passage to the Dawn Rain Continent." Dawn Rain Continent? Colorful Phoenix King was stunned. She looked at Divine Mother Peacock in confusion and whispered, "Divine Mother Peacock, do you know about this Dawn Rain Continent?" "That's right." Divine Mother Peacock said with a smile, "When I was training in the Origin Grotto Heaven, I accidentally passed through the realm barrier and arrived at the Dawn Rain Continent. I left some descendants there. Great Saint Shao came from the Dawn Rain Continent. I smelled a trace of my descendants on Great Saint Shao, so I gave some blood essence and peacock plume to Great Saint Shao and asked him to pass it on to his descendants. So that's how it is." Colorful Phoenix King said with a smile, "There are indeed many spatial rifts in the Origin Grotto Heaven. There are some fortuitous encounters when passing through there occasionally." "That's right." Divine Mother Peacock looked at Xiaohua apologetically and said, "That day, I also accidentally fell into the Dawn Rain Continent. The spatial rift disappeared after I broke through the realm barrier. I also looked for the spatial passage to return to the 10,000 demon realm in the Dawn Rain Continent, but I didn't find it. Later, I had to pass through a place called the Demon Imperial Valley to go to the demon realm." "Ah! Divine Mother Peacock. You actually returned to the 10,000 demon realm through the demon realm?" Hearing this, even Fire Phoenix King was shocked. Divine Mother Peacock nodded helplessly and said, "Yes, there is no spatial passage to return to the 10,000 demon realm from the Dawn Rain Continent. Moreover, I didn't find a place like the Origin Grotto Heaven in the Dawn Rain Continent, so there was no way to return directly to the 10,000 demon realm. Later, I heard that there was a Demon Imperial Valley in the Dawn Rain Continent. Every few thousand years, a spatial rift would appear, and the demon clan would attack the Dawn Rain Continent. I wanted to return to the 10,000 demon realm through the demon realm. No wonder there was no movement from you in the Peacock Palace all those years." Colored Phoenix King said thoughtfully, "Until the demon realm war, you suddenly appeared. So you returned to the 10,000 demon realm from the demon realm?" "Yes." Divine Mother Peacock's face was full of indescribable expression. She smiled bitterly and said, "The demon realm is not a place where the demon clan can go. If I didn't have some opportunities when I first entered the 10,000 demon realm and could temporarily hide my aura, I'm afraid I would have been devoured by the demon clan in the demon realm. However, even so, it took me more than 3,000 years to find the spatial rift to the 10,000 demon realm. I waited for another 800 years before the rift opened." When Xiao Hua heard this, his heart turned cold. He had the demon clan's avatar, so going to the demon realm was not difficult. He even had the news of the spatial rift from the demon realm to the Dawn Rain continent. However, he didn't have the time to wait for the spatial rift to appear. Divine Mother Peacock. Xiaohua probed, is there no other way besides borrowing the demon realm? Of course, there are also realms like the celestial Tao world and the night spirit realm. Divine Mother Peacock smiled, however, I only know the passage to the demon realm. If you need it, I can give it to you. Celestial Tao world. Night spirit realm. Xiaohua frowned slightly and asked curiously, what kind of realms are those? The so-called night spirit realm is a realm where the spirit clan gathers. However, there is no sun or bright sun, no moon, no purple moon or bright moon, not even stars. There is no light in the realm. When the demon spirits of the 10,000 demon realm go there, their powers will be sharply reduced. Fire Phoenix King finally spoke, as for the celestial Tao world, I heard that it is a realm where the human clan gathers. It is said that the cultivators there all cultivate some kind of Tao, and their powers are extremely powerful. However, the laws of heaven and earth in this celestial Tao world are lower than in the 10,000 demon realm. Ordinary great saints can't enter. Hiss. Xiaohua sucked in a breath of cold air and glanced at Huang Tong. The celestial Tao world that Fire Phoenix King mentioned was somewhat similar to the Liu Immortal Alliance on the other side of Million Meng Mountains. Unfortunately, Huang Tong shrugged. How would he know? Chapter 48-35. At this point, Xiaohua had some doubts and asked, I have another question. I heard that the space in the origin grotto heaven is unstable, and there are often spatial cracks that lead to other realms. From these signs, it seems that the origin grotto heaven is at the edge of the 10,000 demon realm. Since there are spatial cracks there, what is broken? Must be the realm barrier. The suction and tearing force of the spatial cracks must be extraordinary. Even with the ability of the 10,000 demon realm's great saints, they might not be able to escape. If this is the case, how do you explain what Divine Mother Peacock said about ordinary great saints not being able to enter? Without waiting for Divine Mother Peacock to speak, Colorful Phoenix King smiled and said, Great Saint Zhao's words are a bit extreme. Everything is different. The laws of heaven and earth in the 10,000 demon realm are different from the other realms. There will be some differences, but the distribution of the laws of heaven and earth in the realms is not balanced. For example, the power of the stars and moon in some places is very strong, and the power of the stars and moon in other places is very thin. Therefore, when there is a passage between two realms, the suction force and the stability of the passage are related to the laws of heaven and earth in the two realms. If the laws of heaven and earth in the other realms are similar to that of the 10,000 demon realm, the passage will be stable, and the suction force inside will not be particularly strong. Not to mention great saints, even ordinary sun elites might be able to resist it. Moreover, after passing through the passage, there may not be extreme discomfort. In this way, if the laws of the other realms are weaker, great saints with powerful divine powers can choose to avoid it. Oh, I see. Huang Tong nodded slightly and said to Xiaohua, I understand. The 10,000 demon realm, the 4 continents, are the greater thousand world. The Xianyuan space is the so-called lesser thousand world, so the laws of heaven and earth should be somewhat different. Xiaohua's face did not show any joy. After all, what Colorful Phoenix King said was an extreme case. Who knew what accidents he would encounter? Xiaohua retracted his gaze and looked at Colorful Phoenix King, Fire Phoenix King, and Divine Mother Peacock. He asked, which great saint knows about the passage from the Tao celestial world or the night spirit world to the Dawn Rain continent? I don't know. Fire Phoenix King shook her head. Divine Mother Peacock said, Great Sage Xiao. Don't think too much about the heaven realm and the night spirit realm, because the space channel between them and the 10,000 demon realm is unstable. It's not even as stable as the demon world's spatial passageway. In the past, there were great saints who accidentally entered the night spirit world and Tao's celestial world's void cracks, but none of them returned in one piece. How many years until the devil world opens? Huang Tong asked. The colored Phoenix King pondered for a moment before replying, about 7,000 years. Where is the approximate location of the spatial crack? Xiao Hua asked. It's not fixed. Holy Mother Peacock knew what Xiao Hua was planning to do. She spread her wings, took out a feather, and handed it to Xiao Hua. This records the location of the two spatial rifts in the demon realm, but I can't guarantee that. These locations haven't changed. Xiao Hua took it and carefully put it away. He nodded and said, "Many thanks, Holy Mother Peacock. If there is really no other way, this Xiao might consider entering the demon realm." The colored Phoenix King was a little moved. She said, "The human race doesn't exist in the 10,000 demon realm, but I see that your body is similar to the demon races. You must be the demon race's food. If you enter the demon realm, won't there be no way out? After all, the great saints of the demon race can't even use 70 to 80% of their abilities in the demon realm. Sigh, there's no other way." Xiao Hua smiled bitterly. For the billions of living beings in the 3 continents, this Xiao has to take the risk. Great Saint Xiao. The colored Phoenix King pondered. Actually, the easiest way is to go to the Origin Grotto Heaven. That's where the great saints of the 10,000 demon realm train and comprehend the spatial laws. There are often some inexplicable spatial rifts. If you're lucky enough, there might be a spatial passageway to the Dawn Rain continent. It's too difficult. Holy Mother Peacock objected. Most of these spatial rifts lead to dead ends. Occasionally, there might be a way to other realms. It's fine if it's the demon realm, but the Tao celestial world, night spirit world, or other realms don't even know the spatial passageway to the Dawn Rain continent. What's the difference between there and the 10,000 demon realm? But if we don't try, how can we go to the Dawn Rain continent? The colored Phoenix King argued. Forget it. Xiao Hua thought for a while and raised his hand to take out the Kunlun mirror. The Kunlun mirror. Not only the colored Phoenix King, but even the Fire Phoenix King was slightly stunned. The 2 great saints of the Phoenix race looked at each other with shock in their eyes. Fellow Taoists. Xiao Hua shook the Kunlun mirror, and Feng Wu, Thunder Immortal, and Immortal Yun flew out. Xiao Hua bowed and said, "We don't have much time left. If we want to go to the Dawn Rain continent before the destruction of the 3 continents, I'm afraid we'll have to make some decisions." Feng Wu, Huang Tong, Thunder Immortal, and Immortal Yun looked at each other with determination in their eyes. They looked at Xiao Hua and said, "We understand what you're thinking, fellow Taoist Xiao. We'll do as you say." "All right." Xiao Hua bowed and said, "If I end up in other realms, I'll leave the important task of breaking the array to all of you." Great Saint Xiao. The Fire Phoenix King heard this and understood. She exclaimed, You want to?" "Yes." Xiao Hua nodded and said, "Since the spatial crack that appeared might not necessarily lead to some realm, and this spatial crack might not necessarily lead to a path of life, but it might lead to the Dawn Rain continent after all. Of us 5 great sages, perhaps one of us will end up in the Dawn Rain continent." "Damn it!" The Fire Phoenix King cursed in a low voice. "You've cultivated to the great saint realm. How can you trample on your own lives like this? Compared to the billions of lives in the 3 continents, our lives are much lighter." Xiao Hua and his clones answered in unison. "Moreover, if we end up in another realm, we might not necessarily lose our lives. Don't worry. Alas, Namo Maitreya Buddha." Although Namo Maitreya Buddha didn't show up, Mother Peacock knew that he was doing the same thing. Mother Peacock couldn't help but chant that The Fire Phoenix King's blood was boiling. Although she didn't understand why Xiao Hua and the other great saints valued other lowly beings so much, she couldn't help but sigh when she saw how spirited they were. She couldn't help but say in a low voice, "Phoenix King, Phoenix King. I think, if you're not confident, can you ask the Swift Cherry Grand Sage first?" The Swift Cherry Grand Sage? Feng Wu was puzzled. She asked curiously, "What do you mean, Fire Phoenix King?" "Oh, right." Mother Peacock was pleasantly surprised. "How could I forget? The Origin Grotto Heaven is the realm of the Origin tribe. The Profound Two Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage are the great saints of the Origin tribe. Although they don't forbid us from cultivating in the Origin Grotto Heaven, they might know the secrets of the Origin Grotto Heaven. Great Saint Xiao, great saints, why don't you ask the two great saints of the Origin tribe?" "Indeed." The Fire Phoenix King said to Feng Wu with a smile, "Phoenix King, why don't you ask the Swift Cherry Grand Sage?" It seems that the Fire Phoenix King is a straightforward great saint." Feng Wu laughed. "She's much stronger than the Great Ape King, the Rainbow Lion King, and the Snow Wolf King." The Fire Phoenix King's face froze. She had a bad feeling. She whispered, "Phoenix King, what do you mean? Have you seen the Snow Wolf King?" "Ha." Feng Wu smiled. "Not only have I seen her. I'm afraid you won't see her again." The Fire Phoenix King looked at the colorful Phoenix King. Both of them were shocked. They couldn't understand how the Snow Wolf King had offended Feng Wu and the other great saints. However, the Fire Phoenix King had never liked the Snow Wolf King. Other than shock, she was gloating. She asked tentatively, "Phoenix King, when did you meet the Snow Wolf King?" "Don't ask." Feng Wu smiled. "She offended me, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't have helped her. As for the specific reason, perhaps you'll know in the future." Since Feng Wu didn't say, the Fire Phoenix King couldn't ask. He thought for a moment and said to the colorful Phoenix King, "Colorful Phoenix King, I just came back from the Origin tribe. It's not convenient for me to go now. You and Mother Peacock can take the Phoenix King and the others to find the Swift Cherry Grand Sage." TSK. The colorful Phoenix King looked at him with disdain and mocked, "When we don't need you, you go to the Origin tribe every day. Now that the two great saints of the Phoenix clan need you, you're shrinking back. Humph, it's not like you don't know where the Origin tribe is. It's not like you don't know the Profound Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage." The Fire Phoenix King snorted. She flapped her wings and flew out of the Peacock Palace. She shouted, "Why do you want me to go again? Since the Fire Phoenix King doesn't want to go, we'll take Great Saint Xiao to the Origin tribe." Mother Peacock watched the Fire Phoenix King fly away and smiled. "There's a space portal from the Phoenix Sacred Realm to the Origin tribe's Fusang realm. It won't take much effort." Xiao Hua was overjoyed. He cupped his hands and said, "Thank you so much." Mother Peacock and the colorful Phoenix King hurriedly returned the greeting. Xiao Hua looked at the Thunder Immortal and the others and narrowed his eyes. He didn't use the Kunlun mirror to put them into the space. Instead, he took them out of the Peacock Palace and into the space portal. After coming out of the spatial portal, a huge plane appeared in front of him. This plane didn't look any different from the Thousand Demons' sacred realm. There were mountains, rivers, trees, and flowers. Nearby, there were beautiful flowers and lush green grass. Demon spirits that were several times larger than the demons in the Thousand Demons' sacred realm were playing among the ancient trees. In the distance, there were mountain ranges that rose and fell one after another. In the vast sky, there were many flying feather demon spirits spreading their wings and flying towards the sky. However, when Xiao Hua and the others flew out of the space portal, there was a faint surprise in their eyes. This was because there was a thin primitive aura coming from the left side of the space. It was completely different from the other places in the 10,000 demons realm. Moreover, when Xiao Hua hurriedly looked around, he saw clearly that the demon spirits within 1,000 miles, whether they were flying in the sky or running on the ground, had faint golden or faint silver filaments on their bodies. They were somewhat similar to Demon King Masa in the Zhongyuan realm. Chapter 48-36. The spatial portal that Xiao Hua and the others came out of was at the top of a small hill. When the Holy Mother of Peacock flew out, no demon spirits came over. It was only when Xiao Hua and the other unfamiliar great saints came out that they attracted the attention of the nearby demon spirits. Screech. A sharp screech pierced through the air. More than a dozen vultures spread their wings and flew out from the distant foothills and ancient trees. On the forehead of the leading vulture, there was a golden thread that looked like a flower petal. It was quite eye-catching. Greetings, colorful Phoenix King and Divine Mother Peacock. Vulture naturally recognized colorful Phoenix King and Divine Mother Peacock. He moved his gaze away from Xiao Hua and the others and hurriedly greeted them. No need to be so polite. Colorful Phoenix King naturally disdained the ugly vulture. Divine Mother Peacock immediately said with a smile, I have come with colorful Phoenix King, the great sages of the human race, the great sages of the Phoenix race, and the great sages of the spirit race to greet profound Grand Sage and Swift Cherry Grand Sage. Please report. Great sages of the human race. Hearing the Peacock Divine Mother mention the great sage of the human clan, the vulture's slender neck immediately shrunk, and the vultures behind it trembled and fled hundreds of meters away. It was obvious that Xiao Hua's fierce reputation had already spread to the origin race. Vulture looked at Xiao Hua and the others with some fear. After hesitating for a moment, he hurriedly said, Great sages, Divine Mother Peacock, please come with me. Yes. Divine Mother Peacock nodded slightly and turned to explain to Xiao Hua, the place where the two great sages of the origin race live. Is not a place where ordinary demons can go. From here to the origin realm where they live, we need to pass through a spatial portal. Without the approval of the two great sages, this portal cannot be opened. Divine Mother Peacock looked meaningfully at Thunderbolt Immortal and the others as she spoke, but did not say anything else. A few vultures flew out first, probably to report. Xiao Hua and the others followed the other vultures to the mountain peak in the distance. Colorful Phoenix King ignored Vulture and the silence where the great sages passed by. Instead, she looked at the mountain peak in the distance and pondered. After a moment, she sent a voice transmission to Huang Tong, Huang Sheng, I want to ask you a question. Oh, colorful Phoenix King, please. Huang Sheng was not surprised and replied with a smile. Forgive me for being presumptuous. The colored Phoenix King stole a glance at Xiao Hua and sent a voice transmission in a low voice. I want to ask. What is the relationship between Phoenix Sage, Great Sage Xiao, Phoenix Sage, Thunder Sage, and the others? What relationship? Huang Tong's eyes turned slightly. She asked even though she already knew the answer. What does colorful Phoenix King mean? Hee hee. Colorful Phoenix King laughed and said, it's nothing much. I just feel that Phoenix Sage and the others are not much weaker than Great Sage Xiao, but why are they so obedient to him? Furthermore, all of you trust him so much that you actually dared to host your bodies in his magic tool. If he has any ill intentions towards all of you, your lives. Oh, so it's about this. Huang Tong already knew what was going on. She smiled and replied, we don't have any special relationship. We just come from the same realm. Our descendants are all in the world that is about to be destroyed. We are like grasshoppers on a rope. We all want to solve the world's crisis and save our descendants. Helping each other in the same boat shouldn't be a big deal, right? Furthermore, Great Sage Zhao's benevolence is obvious to all in our realms. His magnanimity. I admire him very much. Then, Huang Tong's admiration and words of reverence poured out like the Milky Way and flowed endlessly. After a few minutes, Xiao Hua, who was flying in the distance, felt embarrassed. He shouted in his heart to stop Huang Tong from praising herself. The cunning Huang Tong stopped and said with a smile, "Colorful Phoenix King, if you have such a fellow Taoist to accompany you into danger, would you be willing to entrust your back to him?" Of course, of course. Colorful Phoenix King hurriedly nodded and replied, "It's extremely rare to have such a magnanimous demon spirit accompanying me." However, previously, Thunder Sage and the others were all in the Kunlun Mirror. Now, in order to ask about the spatial passage to the Dawn Rain continent, Great Sage Shao released them all. Does he have the intention of interrogating us? First, Fire Phoenix King excused herself and left, so Colorful Phoenix King did not understand what was going on. Then, when all the sages came together, Colorful Phoenix King suddenly realized that something was wrong. However, she was like an arrow on a bow that had to be released, so she braced herself and asked Huang Tong. Huang Tong already had a plan in mind. He nodded awkwardly and replied, "I won't hide it from Colorful Phoenix King. Although Great Sage Shao didn't discuss it with us, he released Thunder Sage and the others. Obviously, he has the intention of intimidating us. After all, in order to save the lives of the billions of lives in the 3 continents, Great Sage Shao. And we are willing to pay any price. If Great Sage Shi Xian knows about the spatial passage to the Dawn Rain continent but does not say it, we might take action. Of course, you can rest assured that Great Sage Shao is the kindest. He will definitely not lay his hands on ordinary demon spirits." What? Hearing this, Colorful Phoenix King became anxious and said anxiously, "Are you prepared to lay your hands on Great Sage Shi Xian?" Huang Tong shrugged and replied innocently, "Whether or not we lay our hands on him depends on Great Sage Shi Xian's intentions. It's just a spatial passage to the Dawn Rain continent. If you know about it, just say it. There's no need to hide it, right?" "Oh, that's true. It's just a spatial passage. It's not that important." Colorful Phoenix King suddenly realized and said embarrassedly, "I'm sorry, Great Sage Huang. I lost my composure a little. After all, I brought you all to the original realm. I'm afraid that it might cause some misunderstanding." It's fine, it's fine. It's very normal." Huang Tong smiled and looked at the aggressive Thunder Sage. Thunder Sage has a fiery temper. With Great Sage Shao around, he won't be too presumptuous. Too presumptuous. Colorful Phoenix King smiled bitterly in her heart. How could she not understand the meaning behind Huang Tong's words? It seems that he will still be a little presumptuous. However, Colorful Phoenix King was just worried. After all, it was not a big deal for Xiao Hua to go to the original realm. It was just a spatial passage. If there was no spatial passage, then there was no. If there was one, then there was one. There would definitely not be any big trouble. Colorful Phoenix King's probing seemed to have passed, and Huang Tong's probing came again. He immediately said in a low voice, "Since Colorful Phoenix King asked me a question, then I would like to ask Colorful Phoenix King a question." "Oh. Go ahead, Sage Huang." Colorful Phoenix King hurriedly replied. "I really want to know what secret Sage Huang wants to ask." "It's nothing." Huang Tong smiled and said, "In the 1,000 demons sacred realm of the 3 continents, my demon clan has 8 great sages. They are the heaven-defying Thunder Phoenix, the void-escaping Soul Phoenix, the golden-winged Great Rock, the black-armored Pentaceratops, the flying feather Void Beast, the red flame Vermilion Bird, the nether demonic Dragon Spider, and the 5-colored Sea God Shell." Oh, the black-armored Pentaceratops and the nether demonic Dragon Spider wanted to plot against Great Sage Shao, but they were killed by him. Now, there should be 6 great sages in the 1,000 demons sacred realm. Hearing this, Colorful Phoenix King was a little surprised. She said in surprise, "Ah. Isn't Great Sage Shao very benevolent?" "Why? Why is he so merciless? Hee hee. Seeing that he had shocked Colorful Phoenix King a little, Huang Tong replied in a low voice, Great Sage Shao is a benevolent person, but there are always some who don't know what's good for them. There's nothing we can do about it. Just like the Great Ape King and the Rainbow Lion King. Great Sage Shao had already warned them, but they still wanted to fight for it. Colorful Phoenix King said helplessly, Sage Huang, when faced with the 5 elements demon spirits. There aren't many great sages who can resist the temptation. If it wasn't for the Thunder Sage's ferocity that day, if it wasn't for the Peacock Mother's assertion, if it wasn't for the Leopard Whale King's departure, perhaps the other great sages would have joined forces. Who would believe Great Sage Shao's words? Forget it, let's not talk about this anymore. It's a little off topic. Huang Tong's goal had been achieved. She immediately returned to the topic and said, I just want to ask, since you're all great sages of the Demon Clan, why are you called Colorful Phoenix King and Fire Phoenix King with the title King, which is similar to Demon King Masa and the other titles, while the Profound Moon Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage are called Great Sages, which is similar to our Thousand Demons Sacred Realm? Hearing that Huang Tong was asking about the Profound Moon Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage, the Colorful Phoenix King was not surprised. She answered without hesitation, it's very simple. The Profound Moon Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage are the sages of all sages. They were the first 2 demon spirits to become great sages in the 10,000 demons realm. Their names are engraved at the top of the sage rankings. In order to show our respect to them, we don't dare to call ourselves great sages. This is a tradition that has been passed down in the 10,000 demons realm for many years. Hearing this, Huang Tong gasped and asked in surprise, what do you mean, Colorful Phoenix King? Could it be that the Profound Moon Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage have always been in the 10,000 demons realm? Are they immortal? The Colorful Phoenix King did not answer immediately. Instead, she raised her head and looked closer. When she saw that Xiao Hua and the others were only moving and did not pay attention to her, she answered, this is the secret of the 2 great sages of the Origin clan. I don't know much about it. However, when it comes to immortality, it's not that far. The 10,000 demons realm is not the demon alliance. They don't have the strength to surpass the laws of the 10,000 demons realm. In front of the laws of heaven and earth, all living things in the 10,000 demons realm can live and die. Oh, I see. Huang Tong agreed thoughtfully. The 2 great sages of the Origin clan have a special inheritance method that allows them to borrow the power of reincarnation to be born in the Origin clan. Huang Tong might not know about Buddhism, but she was no stranger to the power of reincarnation. When she heard Huang Tong's question, she shook her head slightly and said, the inheritance of the 2 great sages probably has nothing to do with the power of reincarnation. This is because they don't have any obvious life and death. They just disappear quietly at certain times. When they reappear, although they still have the strength of a great sage, their aura will be somewhat different. It may be weak, thin, or chaotic. Chapter 48-37. Is the time of disappearance fixed? How long is it? Huang Tong did not wait for Colorful Phoenix King to finish and immediately asked. However, it was not out of her expectations. Colorful Phoenix King was already prepared. She smiled slightly and transmitted her voice, Phoenix Saint, you are overthinking. Although you are a great sage of the Phoenix clan, you are also a demon spirit that I can trust. However, if you want to ask about the secrets of the 10,000 demon realm based on our trust over the past few years, it is impossible. You are quite straightforward. Huang Tong was not regretful. Instead, she replied with a smile, I just want to ask more about the situation of the 2 great sages. Of course. Colorful Phoenix King replied, I just want to tell Phoenix Saint that in the 10,000 demon realm, the Origin clan is far from the Origin clan that Phoenix Saint thinks it is. Similarly, the Origin realm where the two great sages live is definitely not an ordinary demon realm. Huang Tong retorted, "What? Is colorful Phoenix King warning I?" Sigh. The colored Phoenix King sighed. She looked at the top of a mountain in the distance where an almost circular five-colored silhouette gradually appeared. She transmitted her voice, "I just want to explain to Phoenix Saint that the two great saints were born from the great Sun primordial spirit and the great Yin primordial spirit of the 10,000 demon realm. The original realm they live in is the foundation of the 10,000 demon realm. Their safety concerns the entire 10,000 demon realm." Huang Tong smiled slightly and replied, "Don't worry, colorful Phoenix King. Since you can tell I everything you know, I will definitely pass on your words to Xiao Sheng." "That's good." There was some bitterness in the colorful Phoenix King's mouth. "It has only been a few decades since all of you broke through the boundary and triggered the saint ranking. In just a few decades, the three great saints of my 10,000 demon realm have fallen in your hands. The fall of the three great saints has already caused chaos in the 10,000 demon realm. Previously, I hoped that Phoenix Saint and Phoenix Saint could keep the 10,000 demon realm and the Phoenix sacred world. Now, I can't wait to send you away." Colorful Phoenix King's words were almost heartfelt. Huang Tong also helplessly replied, "Colorful Phoenix King is thinking too much. We are even more anxious than you, but it's a pity that fate makes fools of us. Even now, we still haven't found the spatial tunnel to the Dawn Rain continent. If we can get some information from the Swift Cherry Grand Sage, we will leave immediately." "I hope so." The colorful Phoenix King replied before spreading its wings and flying forward. Huang Tong smiled and asked Xiao Hua in her heart, "What do you think, fellow Taoist? The colorful Phoenix King's words should be true." Xiao Hua replied, "The Xi Xian Supreme Sage's original form is a three-legged golden crow. His entire body is filled with the essence of the sun. He should be an original spirit born from the power of the sun. The true form of the Swift Cherry Grand Sage was a jade rabbit. Her entire body was filled with the qi of Taiyin. She should be an original spirit born from the power of Taiyin. They were different from ordinary demon spirits. Especially the Swift Cherry Grand Sage. When we were attacking the Great Ape King, she had already noticed I. You may not know this, but when I was in the upper realm, my left arm was imprinted by the moon beast. Although the imprint disappeared, it was still there. She could have felt the aura of the imprint." Huang Tong nodded and said, "I also think that these words are true. However, if you say that the survival of these two supreme sages is related to the entire 10,000 demon realm, I think that it's a bit exaggerated. I'm afraid that the colorful Phoenix King was afraid that we would force the Swift Cherry Grand Sage to make this up, right? She didn't say that it was true." Xiao Hua smiled and said, "She only heard about it. She can't be sure if it's true or not." At this point, Xiao Hua stopped and looked at the space portal that was close to 100 miles away. At this time, the portal had already taken shape. The outline of the portal was overflowing with 7 colors. Layers of light spots emerged from the huge circular edge and gathered towards the center like water ripples. When they reached the center, they rolled back towards the edge again. Layers of illusions were produced as the light spots collided. "Sigh, I hope that I can get information about the space portal from the Profound Noa Grand Sage or the Swift Cherry Grand Sage." Xiao Hua could not help but feel a sense of desolation. He had always been kind to people and treated things with kindness. It was rare for him to have such a forceful heart. However, before he could do anything, the colorful Phoenix King saw through it. This made him feel a little embarrassed. When the vultures who were leading the way saw the space portal appear, they naturally knew that the Profound Noa Grand Sage had agreed to let Holy Mother Peacock and the others go to the original realm. After leading Xiao Hua and the others to a place dozens of miles away from the space portal, they stopped again and said respectfully, "Holy Mother Peacock, Supreme Sages, my two Supreme Sages have allowed you to go to the Holy World. I dare not go too close to the Divine Temple. Please forgive me." "Okay." Holy Mother Peacock nodded her head. The group of vultures hurriedly flew away and lined up far away from the mountain peak. Holy Mother Peacock looked at the colorful Phoenix King and Xiao Hua again and said, "After you, Supreme Sages. You lead the way." The colorful Phoenix King would not give Holy Mother Peacock the chance to escape. She ordered without hesitation. "All right." Holy Mother Peacock smiled slightly. She flapped her wings and rushed into the colorful space portal. It was slightly different from the space portal that they had seen before. Before Holy Mother Peacock's figure entered, the colorful light spots had already turned into stripes. When Holy Mother Peacock's figure entered the space portal, the hundreds of stripes started to spin like a wheel. A passageway that shone with the brilliance of the sun and moon appeared in the void. As Holy Mother Peacock's figure disappeared, the hundreds of stripes of light started to spin in the opposite direction again. They covered the passageway that shone with the brilliance of the sun and moon. The colorful Phoenix King followed closely behind Holy Mother Peacock. When she flew closer to the space portal, the stripes of light appeared again that the Thunderbolt Immortal was right behind the colorful Phoenix King. His teleportation technique was extremely fast. Before the stripes of light could cover the passageway, he had already rushed to the front of the space portal. However, at this moment, a gentle force blocked him, preventing him from following the colorful Phoenix King in. The Thunderbolt Immortal was slightly stunned. It was also at this moment that the stripes of light shrank. Another light wheel started to spin, revealing the space portal that shone with the brilliance once again. The Thunderbolt Immortal did not suspect anything. He urged his figure to enter again. At this moment, Huang Tong, who was flying in the middle, hurriedly shouted, "Fellow Taoist Thunderbolt, don't be anxious." "What's the matter?" While she was speaking, the Thunderbolt Immortal's figure had already touched the edge of the space portal. A powerful suction force was generated from within, like a large hand grabbing the Thunderbolt Immortal. The Thunderbolt Immortal was shocked. Lightning flashed around his body, and he instantly flew out of the space portal. The rotating light wheel did not stop at all. As the Thunderbolt Immortal flew out, it slowly closed again. "What's the matter?" Xiao Hua saw the slight change in the Thunderbolt Immortal's expression and could not help but frown. He asked softly. "There's a suction force inside the space portal." The Thunderbolt Immortal stood in midair, frowning as he watched the portal return to its original appearance of light spots. He then turned to Huang Tong and asked, "What's the matter, fellow Taoist?" Huang Tong did not answer directly. Instead, she looked at the space portal that was still shining brilliantly, then at the vultures standing respectfully in the distance. She even released her yuan will to check the situation of the Origin clan nearby. After a moment, Huang Tong smiled and said, "Nothing. It's just that I feel that this space portal is not only different from the one in the 10,000 demon realm, but also different from the teleportation formation of our Dao sect. So, I suddenly thought of some traps in the mystic dimension. That's why I reminded you." "That's right." Xiao Hua nodded and said, "One should not have the intention to harm others, but one should always be wary of others. We're in a different world, so it's better for us to be careful. The location of the space portal may change when it closes. If we enter separately, we may appear in different places in different original realms." Previously, the colorful Phoenix King had also made it clear that the strength of the Xi Xian Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage is far more powerful than what we see on the surface. If they have any ill intentions, I'm afraid we'll be at a disadvantage in the original realm. Reverend Yun smiled and said, "Fellow Taoist, you're thinking too much. I see that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage has a quiet character, and is not a demon spirit that will stir up trouble. Moreover, the two Grand Sages did not have any special malice in front of the Gale Abyss that day, did they?" I'm just thinking too much. You don't have to take it seriously. Huang Tong smiled and said, fellow Taoist Xiao, why don't you take out the Kunlun mirror first, and we'll enter together. Looking at the meaningful smile in Huang Tong's eyes, Xiao Hua naturally saw through it. He took out the Kunlun mirror and activated his magic power, allowing all his clones to enter his body. Then, Xiao Hua put away the Kunlun mirror and rushed into the space portal with a flash. Just as the Thunderbolt Immortal had said, as the light wheel spun, a huge force was generated and pulled Xiao Hua's body into the Sun and Moon Brilliance Passage. On the walls of the passage, there were huge shadows of suns and strange shadows of purple moons. The outlines of suns and moons quickly overlapped and intertwined. In the end, they stretched and twisted, turning into streaks of light that were uncertain whether they were real or not. These streaks of light even gradually expanded and scattered, like ink falling into water. As the streaks of light dimmed, the suction of the space portal slowed down, but a heavy pressure was generated. This pressure was much stronger than the one Xiao Hua had encountered before. Hiss. Xiao Hua frowned and thought to himself, could it be that the original realm where the profound Nuan Supreme Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage live is not in the demon realm? Or perhaps, the profound Nuan Supreme Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage really have bad intentions? However, Xiao Hua was still thinking too much. Although the pressure of the teleportation continued to increase, and the light surrounding the tunnel continued to dim, after half a cup of tea's time, a bean-sized spot of light appeared in the pitch-black darkness. In an instant, that spot of light transformed into a round sun, and its brilliance flooded the area around Xiao Hua. As Xiao Hua's figure crashed into it, the pressure suddenly disappeared. Xiao Hua only felt his vision blur, and his figure was actually in a place he had never imagined. Xiao Hua looked around. Although he had already traveled through several realms and had seen many strange sights, when he saw everything in front of him clearly, he was a little dumbfounded again. Chapter 48-38. This was a space with no sky or earth. The entire space was supported by two gigantic trees. These two trees looked different. One shone with golden light while the other shone with silver light. However, in Xiao Hua's eyes, they were exactly the same. Regardless of whether it was the thickness of the roots or the luxuriance of the leaves, everything was the same. Furthermore, the space was filled with golden and silver light. Beside every golden light, there was a silver light. In fact, in many places, the golden and silver light intertwined to form a golden and silver vortex. There were also strange scenes where the sun and moon shone at the same time. Xiao Hua's eyes wandered and he suddenly felt that there were countless suns and moons rising. It also felt like there were countless illusions being created and destroyed. There wasn't any special heaven-earth yuan qi in this space. The entire space slowly turned into a kind of hot liquid that was similar to seawater. Even with Xiao Hua's strong body, he could feel a kind of sharp heat piercing deep into his body. Xiao Hua released his consciousness. Although his consciousness was not restricted, it was still hindered by the hot liquid. There was no freedom outside of this space. However, what surprised Xiao Hua was that an aura similar to the spiritual guts of the spiritual world in his space rushed out uncontrollably from the roots of the two towering trees. It emitted heat in the hot liquid. It seems like. Xiao Hua squinted his eyes. He stood in the space and looked around. He thought to himself, the colorful Phoenix King is right. The origins of the profound Nuan Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage should be related to the spiritual guts of the 10,000 demons realm. Even if they do not bear the heavy responsibility of maintaining the stability of the 10,000 demons realm, they should be original spirits born from the essence of the sun and moon. However, after looking around, Xiao Hua's heart skipped a beat. This was because in the entire space, there was nothing else other than the two trees. Not only were the profound Nuan Grand Sage and the Swift Cherry Grand Sage nowhere to be seen, even the colorful Phoenix King and the divine Peacock Mother who came in earlier were nowhere to be seen. Seeing this, Xiao Hua could not help but laugh coldly. Huang Tong's prediction was right. Even if the two origin grand sages did not have any ulterior motives, they were still worried about him. Where are the two grand sages? Xiao Hua was on guard in his heart, but he didn't lack etiquette. After looking around, he cupped his fists and said, "This Xiao has an important matter that I wish to consult with you about." Boom! A thunderous sound that shook the entire space came from the crown of the golden tree. A golden light that was not much inferior to the real sun appeared amidst the thunderous sound. The three-legged golden crow of the Xi Xian Grand Sage stepped through the void and landed on the tree. As the three-legged golden crow descended, the entire tree began to tremble. In particular, as the tree trembled, the entire space began to sway. Heat waves that were more powerful than a tsunami rushed towards Xiao Hua, rushing towards every corner of the space. For a moment, the entire space was filled with golden light, and the silver light disappeared. The golden light was so intense that even Xiao Hua couldn't help but close his eyes. Xiao Hua. The Xian Xian Supreme Sage's voice was like that of a deity's. It was unusually majestic in the space. You have some guts. How dare you come to my original realm? Xiao Hua smiled slightly. His eyes flashed with a fiery light. He slowly raised his head and looked at the three-legged golden crow standing on the top of the tree. The Xian Xian Supreme Sage's demonic body stood in the air. Not only did the golden light shine in all directions, but the fiery light that soared into the sky was also like lava from a volcanic eruption. Countless bubbles surged out of the lava and floated in all directions. However, these bubbles could not float too far away. This was because the other tree in the distance did not react to the appearance of the Xian Xian Supreme Sage. Although the silver light was covered by the golden light, when the bubbles came into contact with the silver light, they all shattered and turned into strands of golden silk that disappeared into the lava. The three-legged golden crow in the flames looked similar to Xiao Hua's golden body. However, when Xiao Hua's gaze fell on it, an incomparably large object immediately appeared in his eyes and rushed straight into his mind. An indescribable fear involuntarily rose from the bottom of Xiao Hua's heart. He. Xiao Hua smiled slightly. The thunder around him trembled slightly, blocking the disturbance caused by the three-legged golden crow. He opened his mouth and said, "The original realm is not some dragon's lair or tiger's den. I also do not have any ill intentions. Why would I not dare to come?" Ha ha ha. The Xian Xian Supreme Sage laughed loudly. His boundless power dissipated with his laughter. Even the blinding fiery light slowly disappeared. However, the Xian Xian Supreme Sage said, "The human race, oh the human race. You are indeed an extraordinary spirit clan. In the face of my majesty, you are actually so calm. You truly deserve my respect. I wouldn't dare." Xiao Hua smiled and said, "The human race is inferior to the spirit clans of the 10,000 demon realm. However, I feel that as long as one is a spirit clan, no matter how strong the other party is, one must maintain one's self-esteem. If one cannot be neither arrogant nor humble and bend in the face of power, then others need not respect one too much." Well said. The Xian Xian Supreme Sage stopped smiling and nodded. This is not something that an ordinary demon clan Supreme Sage can say. I cannot help but look at Xiao Sheng in a new light once again. Xiao Hua looked around and asked, "I do not understand what the Supreme Sage means. Where did the colorful Phoenix King and Divine Peacock Mother go?" They are in the original realm. The Xian Xian Supreme Sage replied. However, I have something to ask Xiao Sheng, so I did not let them appear for the time being. Once you and I have made things clear, they will naturally appear. Oh. What does the Supreme Sage want to ask? Xiao Hua was stunned and asked curiously. My matter is simple. Just one sentence and two questions. There is no need to mention them now. May I know what is so important that Xiao Sheng has come to the original realm today? The Xian Supreme Sage flapped his wings and replied. Xiao Hua did not hide and went straight to the point. To be honest, I said before that I will leave the 10,000 demon realm after obtaining the 5 elements original spirits. However, I could not find the space passage to the Dawn Rain continent, so I had no choice but to come to the original realm. I would like to ask the Supreme Sage to tell me. Dawn Rain continent. Supreme Sage Shi Xian had a strange expression on his face. After pondering for a moment, he said, to tell you the truth, I don't know the spatial passage from the 10,000 demon realm to the Dawn Rain continent. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Although he was mentally prepared when he came, Xiaohua still felt as if his heart had fallen into an ice cellar when he heard the Xian Supreme Sage admit it. He could not help but beg, Xian Supreme Sage, please think about it carefully. There is no need for a stable space passage or any cracks. Just a general direction is enough. I am eternally grateful. Oh. Xiao Sheng. The Xian Supreme Sage was stunned and asked curiously, are you begging me? That's right. Xiao Hua did not feel the slightest shame when he heard the Xian Supreme Sage's mocking words. He said in all seriousness, I am indeed begging the Supreme Sage to enlighten me so that I can return to the Dawn Rain continent as soon as possible. I hope to have a chance to break the immortal formation. And save the billions of lives in the 3 continents. You are a great sage of the human race. How dare you beg me in such a lowly manner? Grand Sage Tua Xian laughed out loud. His words shocked Xiao Hua. From this, it can be seen that the etiquette, justice, integrity, and honor that you humans speak of are nothing. Your so-called persistence in your hearts has no bottom line at all. Why do you say that, Supreme Sage? Xiao Hua said coldly, my actions may be an insult to my dignity, but what does this have to do with the human race? Nothing. The Xian Supreme Sage flapped his wings and raised his golden beak. Now that you've asked your questions, it's time for me to ask you something. Please. Xiao Hua suppressed his anger and nodded. I have 2 questions. The Xian Supreme Sage said, first, did you kill the Snow Wolf King? That's right. Xiao Hua did not deny it and nodded. Xiao Hua, oh Xiao Hua. The Xian Supreme Sage could not help but sigh, the 10,000 demon realm has not lost a great sage in so many years. You just made it to the top of the saint rankings and there are already great sages dying at your hands. Do you think I can tolerate you killing them? Hearing this, Xiao Hua understood. It was not that the Xian Supreme Sage did not want to attack him that day at the Gale Abyss, but he did not have full confidence. Now that he had walked right into the trap, how could the Supreme Sage let him go? Therefore, he said coldly, Great Sage, I have already killed the Great Ape King and the Rainbow Lion King. If you cannot, I have also killed the Snow Wolf King. This has nothing to do with whether you can tolerate it or not. Ha ha ha. Supreme Sage Xian laughed loudly. He flapped his wings and countless flames soared into the sky, covering most of the space. His angry voice could be heard from the flames. I still want to know why you killed the Snow Wolf King. Is this your second question? Xiao Hua looked at the flames with interest and the laughter of the 3-legged golden crow. He was not nervous at all. The Xian Supreme Sage's body grew larger in the flames and his voice was fierce, this is not the second question. But if you don't want to answer, then I will not ask. But I want to guess, did the Snow Wolf King discover the humans you brought to the 10,000 demon realm? You did not want her to spread the news of the humans in the 10,000 demon realm, so you killed her. Hiss. Xiao Hua sucked in a breath of cold air, the flames in his eyes turning cold. His voice was as cold as ice, so Great Sage's second question is to ask this Xiao, where are the humans in the 10,000 demon realm? Not bad, not bad, humans do have the potential to boast. I have not said it yet, but you can understand. I am impressed. The Xian Xian Grand Sage nodded vigorously. The space around him had already started to boil. The hot liquid was like boiling water. Oh, in your human race, this is called. You know what it means, right? Give it a recommendation vote, collect it, gift it, and thank you for all your support. Chapter 48-39. I don't think your words are funny at all. Xiao Hua replied faintly, I only think that you are threatening me, and I can see that you are walking towards the Snow Wolf King's death. Ha ha ha. Yuan Xian Supreme Sage laughed again, the flames in the sky swayed with his laughter, just like Yuan Xian Supreme Sage's mocking expression. Xiao Hua, you always say that you are doing this for the sake of the lives of billions of people in the 3 continents. Not only did you use this as an excuse to steal the 5 elemental spirits of the demon realm, but you also used this as an excuse to kill 3 great sages of the demon realm. Are the lives of the 3 great sages of the demon realm not worth their lives? Are the lives of billions of people in the 3 continents the only ones worth their lives? You keep saying that you are doing this for the sake of the 3 continents, and you even sent the descendants of the 3 continents to the demon realm. Then, as a great sage of the demon realm, can I also think for the sake of the billions of demons in the demon realm, and kill the humans who invade the demon realm? Or even you great sages? At this point, Xiao Hua no longer denied that he brought the descendants of the human race. He thought for a moment and said, I have no choice. After all, if I cannot break the immortal formation, then the 3 continents will be a dead end. For the sake of the bloodline of the human race, I have no choice but to send the descendants of the human race to the demon realm. Furthermore, the demon realm is the world of demons, the human race is at an absolute disadvantage. How many humans can I bring? Don't worry, great sage. Xiao Hua, do you think that I am a country bumpkin who has never seen the world? Yuan Xian Supreme Sage's words shocked Xiao Hua. He did not wait for Yuan Xian Supreme Sage to finish speaking and immediately shouted, Yuan Xian Supreme Sage, you have been to the Dawn Rain continent. I don't know if the place I went to was the Dawn Rain continent. Yuan Xian Supreme Sage said coldly, it seems that the name of that place is not Dawn Rain. However, what this saint knows is that this saint has seen the greed of the human world, the ugliness of human nature, and the cruelty of cannibalism. As for the so-called human race, I already know it in my heart. Furthermore, to tell you the truth, the essence of this saint's previous life was also killed by a human's arrow. Tell me, will I allow these locust-like humans to exist in my 10,000 demon realm? Would I let a great sage of the human clan escape from the demon realm? Xiao Hua was startled and instantly understood something. He looked around and exclaimed in a low voice, in that case, this isn't the original realm, but the so-called rushing current valley. Are these 2 towering trees the legendary Fusang trees? As I thought. Grand Sage Xiang Xian laughed viciously. Xiao Hua, your background is indeed extraordinary. That great saint who came with you, who isn't listed on the saint rankings, should be a descendant of a primordial grand shaman, right? If not for the inheritance of the Magihumans, how would you know about these ancient secrets? As he looked at the Si Xian Grand Sage, Xiao Hua pinched his chin and felt conflicted. The Si Xian Grand Sage's words were not without reason. From the point of view of the 3 continents, it was natural for him to bring the descendants of the human clan to the 10,000 demon realm. After all, this was the last hope for the human clan to reproduce. However, from the point of view of the 10,000 demon realm, they were extremely unwilling for the human clan to forcefully enter this realm where only the demon spirits existed. He was the human clan, demon clan, and dragon clan of the 3 continents. He was an intruder who entered without the consent of the 10,000 demon realm's demon spirits. He might be able to bring the Confucian cultivators and the Buddhist clan back to the Dawn Rain continent, but the Demon clan and Dragon clan definitely could not. There's no such thing as having it both ways. There's no absolute right or wrong in everything. After a moment, Xiaohua had already made a decision. He raised his voice and said, "Since I'm from the 3 continents, I have to think about the existence of the 3 continents. Since I'm from the human clan, I have to think about the future of the human clan. Just like how Great Sage thinks about the demon spirits of the 10,000 demon realm. If there's any trouble, I hope Great Sage can understand." As he said that, Xiaohua bowed again. Unfortunately, Xian Xian Supreme Sage was not moved. Instead, he said coldly, "If respect is enough, should I make the Great Ape King, Rainbow Lion King, and Snow Wolf King kneel in front of Xiaosheng? It doesn't matter." Xiaohua's face smiled, "I only ask for peace of mind, and to do something for the human clan. The life and death of the demon clan. I'm afraid it's beyond my power." Well said, well said. Xian Xian Supreme Sage's 2 wings transformed into 2 large hands. He clapped his hands and laughed, "For the billions of demon spirits of the 10,000 demon realm, I have to kill Xiaosheng and the human clan. I hope Xiaosheng can understand." Well said, well said. Xiaohua's smile revealed a sense of helplessness. "You and I both have a heavy burden on our shoulders. As long as Great Sage is not afraid of being killed by the sun shooting arrow, you can do anything you want." "What? You have the sun shooting arrow?" Xian Xian Supreme Sage trembled slightly. The large hands shattered, and his regenerated wings fluttered slightly. His body flew away from the Fusang tree. Xiaohua said faintly, "Great Sage, don't be afraid. Not only do I have the sun shooting arrow, but I also don't have the divine bow. However, my Abhijna will not disappoint Great Sage." As he said that, Xiaohua raised his hand and took out the Kunlun mirror from his Taoist robe. He. Xian Xian Supreme Sage laughed coldly, "Xiaohua, this is the Valley of Tang. You are under the Fusang tree. Do you think this is where you can be arrogant?" Xiaohua activated the Kunlun mirror. The Kunlun mirror's brilliance disappeared. Furthermore, wherever Xiaohua's consciousness swept, the Shenhua continent disappeared. The laws of heaven and earth were completely different from when he first entered the original realm. "Oh no!" Xiaohua's expression changed slightly. "Haha!" Xian Xian Supreme Sage laughed loudly and said proudly, "Since you know this is the Valley of Tang, why don't you know that this Valley of Tang is formed by my essence soul? This Valley of Tang is me, and I am the Valley of Tang. Once you are in the Valley of Tang, do you think you can do whatever you want?" As the Xian Xian Supreme Sage's laughter fell, the entire original realm began to tremble. Countless flames mixed with golden light turned into a monstrous force that crashed down. It was about to smash Xiaohua's golden body into powder. Could it be that in the end, only power can speak? Xiaohua was extremely helpless. As he waved his hand, countless thunderbolts appeared from his hand and turned into a 5-colored lightning hand that rose into the sky and met the world-destroying golden light. Hiss! In the original realm, everything was under Xian Xian Supreme Sage's control. Seeing that Xiaohua's 5-colored lightning was filled with the way of life and death, Xian Xian Supreme Sage could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. Without waiting for the golden light to fall into the lightning hand, he spread his wings and his demon body, which was like a scorching sun, fell into the Fusang tree. Boom! Just as the Xi Xian Supreme Sage's body disappeared, the hand of lightning collided with the golden light of annihilation. The golden light of annihilation was unparalleled and overbearing, but it was no match for the golden light of annihilation. There was a deafening sound as the golden light of annihilation rapidly dissipated and the flames were extinguished. However, the golden light of the original realm was like a mighty wave. As it was extinguished, it also shattered Xiaohua's lightning hand. Naturally, Xiao Hua had already noticed Xian Xian Supreme Sage's actions. He hurriedly rushed into the sky and rubbed his hands together. Rays of golden light as thick as a child's arm fell into the void. In the space near Xiao Hua, the sound of wind and thunder could be heard. One after another, the shadow of the immortal slaying stage appeared and rushed towards the Fusang tree. Caw. Before the giant lightning shadow of the immortal slaying stage could get close, the golden Fusang tree suddenly trembled. 10 rays of light of different colors surged out from the 10 thickest branches of the Fusang tree. In the blinding light, 10 cries that sounded exactly the same could be heard. The 10 of them looked exactly the same. Only the 3-legged multicolored crows of different colors revealed themselves. When the 10 3-legged multicolored crows appeared, the entire original realm immediately stirred up an endless chaotic storm. The originally scorching hot lava entered the bodies of the 10 3-legged multicolored crows faster than the chi of heaven and earth. Above Xiao Hua's head and under his feet, even more spiritual guts rushed into the original realm and turned into boundless hot lava. Call. Among the 10 3-legged multicolored crows, the golden 3-legged golden crow roared angrily. It flapped its wings and pounced in front of Xiao Hua. It said coldly, "Xiao Hua, today, even if you have 3 heads and 6 arms, you will still turn into dust. Don't blame me for not warning you earlier. If you had left that day, I would not have been able to do anything to you. But since you have delivered yourself to me, I have no choice but to kill you for the peace of the 10,000 demon realm." Caw. Caw. After a few clear cries, the purple, red, and other multicolored crows flapped their wings and surrounded Xiao Hua. However, Xiao Hua could see clearly that other than the 3-legged golden crow's bright eyes and the purple 3-legged purple crow's eyes were half closed, the other 8 multicolored crow's eyes were lifeless. They were clearly spirits that had not awakened. In an instant, Xiao Hua understood that the grand sage Qianxian mentioned by the colorful Phoenix King was not the one in front of him. It was the collective name of these 10 multicolored crows. Just like the Hoi shooting the sun, in the legend of the sorcerer tribe, there was only one sun hanging in the sky every day. In the original realm of the 10,000 demon realm, there was only one 3-legged multicolored crow in each generation that would awaken. As the current grand sage Qianxian, 10 multicolored crows were 10 grand sages. They were real grand sages, not illusions or doppelgangers. Although they had not awakened, their oppressive aura had firmly locked onto Xiao Hua. It seemed that as long as the 3-legged golden crow gave the order, they would tear Xiao Hua into pieces at the same time. What a pity. Xiao Hua smiled slightly. He looked at the confined space and said, "Grand Sage Qianxian, I am destined to disappoint you today. Although I don't have 3 heads and 6 arms, I have 10 heads and 20 arms. Fellow Taoists, you can show yourselves now." Chapter 48-40. As he spoke, Xiao Hua pretended to be mysterious and patted his head. Boom boom boom. A series of thunderclaps sounded out of thin air. The Thunder Immortal, Feng Wu, Huang Tong and the other avatars flew out one after another. They. As Xiao Hua's avatars flew out, Xian Xian Supreme Sage's eyelids could not help but twitch. How could they come out of the Kunlun mirror? When Taoist Witch and Demon Venerable Shi flew out, Xian Xian Supreme Sage's shock could not be any greater. He thought that Xiao Hua would have an ancient witch tribe companion, but he never thought that Demon Venerable Shi could also be listed on the saint ranking in the demon realm. Of course, Demon Venerable Shi's name would not appear on the saint ranking. Demon Venerable. Xian Xian Supreme Sage almost groaned. How is this possible? Great Sage, you have a good plan. Seeing that his avatars had blocked the aura of the 8 3-legged colorful crows, Xiao Hua said coldly, "You were afraid that I would bring all of them here at the same time, so you tampered with the space portal and made me suspicious. Fellow Xiao Hua, you are wrong. Huang Tong smiled. There is absolutely no problem with the space portal, the problem is with the Fusang tree. The Fusang tree divided the so-called Tang Valley into 10 levels. If you and I came in separately, we would fall on different levels and be defeated by this guy. But if we came in together, he could use the power of the realm to imprison the space of the Kunlun mirror, making it impossible for us to come out of the Kunlun wonderland. This guy's plan is flawless. What a cunning crow. Xiaohua nodded and raised his hand to point at Xian Xian Supreme Sage. It's a pity that he still shot himself in the foot. It's okay. Thunder Immortal smiled and raised his hand to point. The stone is not big and he has many feet. It's okay to smash one. Damn it. The three-legged golden crow was furious. It opened its mouth and a golden halo fell into the air, covering Xiaohua like a fishing net. At the same time, the three-legged purple crow beside him also opened its mouth and another purple halo fell. As the two halos echoed, the space around Xiaohua melted like a candle and flowed into the mouths of the two three-legged golden crows. Not good. Why is the spatial energy of the original realm so strange? Xiaohua did not feel anything strange about his golden avatar. However, as far as he could see, his golden avatar was also melting along with the space, flowing like water. Xiaohua could not help but exclaim softly. At this moment, the other 8 three-legged multicolored crows also opened their mouths. Halos of various colors fell from the sky. The entire rushing current valley really turned into soup and fell into their mouths. Xiaohua was not the only one who was shocked. Even Huang Tong, who was proficient in spatial escape techniques, was shocked. He clearly knew that the three-legged golden crow's control of the entire original realm had surpassed his control of the spatial laws. Furthermore, the three-legged golden crow knew that he might not be able to take advantage of Huang Tong and the other great sages, so he simply manipulated space so that Huang Tong and the other great sages did not even have a chance to use their superpowers. Even so, it was impossible for Huang Tong and the others to be captured. Huang Tong opened his mouth, and the 100 Beasts flag flew out. The Thunderbolt Immortal and the others also activated their superpowers and tried their best to resist. However, the spatial laws of the original realm were so strange. Huang Tong's 100 Beasts flag waved and first urged a demonic beast to fly out. The place where the demonic beast landed also turned into a stream of light. It looked like it was obviously in 2 different spaces from the three-legged golden crow. How could it launch an effective attack? Even the Thunderbolt Immortal's Thunderbolt Giant Palm also missed. He clearly sensed that it was a huge palm that was several acres in size, but when it landed in the original realm, it turned into a distorted light shadow. Damn it! Seeing that some of the golden avatar's light shadow had already fallen into the three-legged golden crow's mouth, Xiaohua cursed angrily and shouted in his heart, "Fellow Taoists, activate the thunder escape technique. We can only use the power of speed to resist the spatial laws." Alright. When the doppelgangers heard this, they agreed and activated their bodies at the same time. Countless lightning shadows appeared like distorted fireworks everywhere. Layers of shadows appeared from Xiaohua and the other doppelgangers. These shadows were like cicadas shedding their shells, peeling off layer by layer and falling into the three-legged golden crow's mouth, but the real doppelgangers gradually solidified and filled up. Damn it, what kind of escape technique is this? How can it be so powerful? The three-legged golden crow was angry. He really could not understand how these foreign great sages could have such powerful means. Just as the three-legged golden crow was thinking about how to deal with it, Xiaohua, whose golden avatar was completely standing in the shattered space, revealed a mocking smile. He raised his hand and took out the sword gourd. Seeing Xiaohua take out the sword gourd, the three-legged golden crow was shocked. After all, he had already seen the power of the killing spirit vital light. If he was not afraid of the killing spirit vital light, he would have already taken action. Why wait until now? Quick! As Xiaohua chanted the incantation, He raised his hand and pointed at the sword gourd. On the sword gourd, the black and white thing with a nose and eyes appeared. Shwa. When the black and white thing opened its eyes, the black and white light curtain instantly rushed out of the sword gourd, as if to cover the entire rushing current valley. 10 fierce killing spirit vital light that could cover the world suddenly flew out and pounced on the 10 three-legged golden crows. Wherever the black and white light passed, everything was destroyed. Whether it was the dazzling 10-colored brilliance or the melting space, nothing could stop it. In the blink of an eye, it fell on the heads of the three-legged golden crows. Shwa shwa shwa. In this critical moment, there was a sound like flowing water. 2 leaves flew out from the golden fusang tree and the silver fusang tree, and instantly fell on the heads of the 10 three-legged golden crows. The killing spirit vital light fell on the gold and silver leaves. Pu-pu. Muffled sounds continued. The leaves were destroyed by the killing spirit vital light, but without waiting for the killing spirit vital light to fall half an inch, more leaves grew out, one stacked on top of another, as if there was no end to them. Ha. The three-legged golden crow laughed, and the golden light in his mouth shone brightly. Xiao Hua, Huang Tong, give me your lives. It's just bullying with numbers, who doesn't know how to do it? Xiao Hua saw that he could not escape, and coldly smiled. He raised his hand and said, I'll let you see what it means to bully with numbers. Xiao Hua did not believe that Huang Tong's 100-beast flag would not work, and his 100 or so scattered nascent souls would be defeated. However, before Xiao Hua could release the 100 or so ninth tribulation scattered nascent souls from his lower dantian, he heard the celestial being, who had his back to Xiao Hua, laugh loudly. Fellow Taoist, there's no need to use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Why don't you let me test my skills? The celestial being opened his mouth. Buzz buzz. A huge roar broke through the air, and the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper tumbled out of the celestial being's body. Who? An aura several times fiercer than the killing spirit vital light rushed out from the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper, and instantly flooded the surrounding space. Ah! This is. The three-legged golden crow felt an inexplicable fierceness, and was so shocked that he even forgot to spit out the golden light in his mouth. His gaze fell on the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper, and he actually seemed to have lost his soul. Shwa. The 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper was different from Xiao Hua's other magic artifacts. As the celestial being raised his hand and pointed, a black light came out from it. This black light crossed the original realm, and not only blocked the 10-colored light of the 10 three-legged colorful crows, but also the gold and silver light of the 2 fusang trees. 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper. This is the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper. You. How do you have the celestial race's celestial artifact? The three-legged golden crow came to his senses and cried out in disbelief. His trembling body seemed to be extremely afraid of the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper. Huh, I understand now. The celestial being laughed loudly. So you are from the celestial race. I don't need to use any shooting sun arrows to kill you. Since that's the case, then hand over your life. Woo. As the celestial being raised his hand and pointed, the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper flew toward the three-legged golden crow. Seeing that the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper passed by, a huge suction force sucked in all the light nearby. The three-legged golden crow did not dare to be negligent. He spread his wings and flew toward the fusang tree, and the void near the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper collapsed at the same time. Unfortunately, not only did the collapsed void not stop the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper, it even turned into larger fragments under the suction force of the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper. The black light of the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper caught up with the three-legged golden crow several times faster than the light within the fragments. Call. The moment the black light touched the three-legged golden crow, the flame-like golden light dyed the three-legged golden crow's entire body faster than the ink in the pool. The three-legged golden crow could not help but cry out in alarm. Swoosh. The 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper ignored space within the black light and landed on the three-legged golden crow's head in an instant, covering the three-legged golden crow. Pooh! The three-legged golden crow was shocked. He opened his mouth and a blood-red golden light rushed out, wanting to hit the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper. Unfortunately, the light only lifted the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper by half a foot before it mysteriously disappeared within the black light. The 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper fell by more than 10 feet. Damn it! Damn it! The three-legged golden crow roared furiously 3 times. A golden light burst out from his body, and in just a moment, he grew to over 10,000 feet tall. At the same time, a golden feather from his tail pierced through the air and pierced straight toward the celestial's forehead. Fellow Taoist Yun. Seeing the feather approaching, the celestial cried out in alarm, "Come and save me." Reverend Yun was taken aback. Without hesitation, he opened his mouth and unleashed a dragon breath that transformed into a dragon avatar and blocked in front of the feather. Boom! When the feather pierced into the dragon avatar, it immediately turned golden, then exploded with a loud boom, leaving not even a single trace of dragon mark on it. Damn it! Taoist Yun's heart trembled. Obviously, he was wounded by the hidden attack in the feather. Fellow Taoist, can you still hold on? When Xiaohua saw that the celestial was only controlling the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper to chase after the three-legged golden crow, while the other three-legged colorful crows had taken the opportunity to fly into the fuso tree, he understood that the celestial did not have the strength to spare to kill the other three-legged colorful crows at the same time. Chapter 48-41. I may not be able to fully control the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper, but it won't be a problem to kill him. The celestial laughed. However, after activating the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper, I won't be able to activate it again for many years. That's good. Xiaohua heaved a sigh of relief and said coldly, let's kill him first. Okay. The celestial spirit was shaken. He opened his mouth again, and the tricolored true light fell into the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper. Boom boom boom. The 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper shook violently and suddenly expanded. The black light once again enveloped the huge three-legged golden crow. Caw. At this time, the three-legged golden crow's cry actually carried a kind of sorrow. Paw. Without waiting for the three-legged golden crow's cry to land, the celestial clapped his hands. Boom. Like thunder, but without the majesty of thunder, like falling rain, but 100 times colder than falling rain, a mournful black light fell from the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper and brushed onto the three-legged golden crow's body. This black light was extremely strange. It ignored space, ignored the golden light of the three-legged golden crow, ignored the soaring flames, and even ignored the three-legged golden crow's elemental spirit body born from the grand sun primordial fire and instantly fell into it. It was even colder than the wind blowing out a candle. Where the black light fell, more than half of the golden light of the three-legged golden crow was immediately annihilated, and more than half of the previously fierce flames were also extinguished. The three-legged golden crow could no longer maintain its huge body. As the black light brushed past, it suddenly shrank to about 10,000 feet. Oh my! Not to mention Xiaohua, even the celestial himself was shocked. He exclaimed, how is this 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper so powerful? With just a brush, it reduced the so-called profound supreme sage's strength by 30%. If it's brushed a few times, won't this guy become a bald crow? Xiaohua smiled and asked in his heart, that's true, but how many times can you brush it? The celestial smacked his lips and said, brushing it 2 more times. Shouldn't be a problem, right? The celestial being's words were filled with helplessness and unwillingness. Xiaohua understood that in the original realm, the Yun Xian Supreme Sage was the original realm, and the original realm was the Yun Xian Supreme Sage. It was already good that the celestial being could use the heavenly dipper to suppress him. If he really wanted to kill the Yun Xian Supreme Sage, it would be difficult. Unless the heavenly man and the Suo Xian Grand Sage planned to perish together. I'm not afraid. Xiaohua smiled coldly. Apart from fellow Taoist, there's still fellow Taoist Wu. Although he doesn't have any sun shooting arrows, he can still kill him with the shaman race's divine abilities. In the ancient times, there was a great sorcerer who destroyed the 9 suns with an arrow. Today, I shall kill the golden crow with my bare hands. Taoist sorcerer said proudly. Just as Xiaohua and the celestial being were discussing how to kill the 3-legged golden crow and escape from the original realm, there was a loud bang. The Fusang tree, which had originally turned into a quiet silver tree under the bright light of the golden Fusang tree, suddenly emitted a brilliant silver light. This silver light was like a tide that washed over the space of the original realm, but the silver light was so gentle that it was not glaring or dazzling. Even the black light of the heavenly dipper showed signs of fading under this silver light. Swift Cherry Grand Sage. Xiaohua's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately knew who had appeared. His body flashed, and he brought Huang Tong and the rest to where the silver Fusang tree and the golden Fusang tree were separated. Each of them cast their skills, be it lightning, wind, or soul power, they all appeared and forcefully blocked the silver light. Sigh. A sorrowful sigh sounded from the silver Fuso tree. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage's silver demonic body appeared. Beside her, the colorful Phoenix King and Holy Mother Peacock appeared with smiles on their faces. However, when the colorful Phoenix King and Divine Mother Peacock saw the situation in front of them, the smiles on their faces froze. Divine Mother Peacock exclaimed, "Grand Sage, this. What's going on?" At the same time, Divine Mother Peacock flapped her wings and tried to fly out of the Fusang tree. Unfortunately, the silver light was like a layer of shackles that bound Divine Mother Peacock and the colorful Phoenix King tightly. No matter what, Divine Mother Peacock could not fly out of the branches of the Fusang tree. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage's expression was very complicated. He looked at Xiaohua, Huang Tong and the others, and then at the celestial being who controlled the heavenly dipper. Finally, his gaze fell on the profound Grand Sage, who was struggling under the black light of the heavenly dipper and had shrunk by 30%. He said, "Xiao Sheng. Xiao Sheng, Xiao Sheng." Divine Mother Peacock also shouted, "Can you?" Instead, it was the colorful Phoenix King who opened her mouth to say something. However, when she saw Xiaohua and the other 9 sages, and even a demon lord, how could she not know what was going on? Therefore, she did not even say a word and just watched quietly. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage did the same. He only called out "Xiao Sheng" and did not speak again. Clearly, he did not know how to persuade him. Xiaohua looked coldly at the Swift Cherry Grand Sage and said, "Swift Cherry Grand Sage, I believe you know what happened here. Previously, I did not understand why the profound Grand Sage said so much to me." So he was not wasting his breath for no reason. He wanted the Swift Cherry Grand Sage to listen to him. He wanted to persuade the Swift Cherry Grand Sage, right? That's right. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage did not deny it. He nodded and said, "Because when it comes to dealing with Xiao Sheng, Phoenix Sage and the other great sages, I do not agree with the profound Grand Sage. Therefore, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage went to welcome the colorful Phoenix King and Divine Mother Peacock and reminisced with them. Huang Tong continued, "And when the great sage Tuo Xian kills us, you can tell them the truth. I'm sure they won't say much. They'll just wave goodbye to you and continue to be their great sage." Sigh. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage sighed and did not answer. Clap. At this moment, the celestial being became impatient. He clapped his hands and another layer of black light fell from the great destructive celestial dipper. Whoosh! Without any suspense, the profound Grand Sage's golden light was cut down again. The demon beast became a few 100 feet tall. Great Sage, please forgive us. The other demon spirits, even the swift cherry Grand Sage, were too embarrassed to speak. Only Divine Mother Peacock panicked and screamed, "Please don't kill the profound Grand Sage, please don't." The celestial being laughed coldly and asked, "Why not? Just because he is a great sage of the original demon realm? Just because he is a spirit formed from the essence of the ancient sun? Great Sage, you don't know." Divine Mother Peacock hurriedly replied, "The profound Grand Sage was formed from the sun spirit of the 10,000 demon realm. His existence is closely related to the sun of the 10,000 demon realm. If he is killed, the 10,000 demon realm may lose a son. How is that possible?" Xiao Hua was disdainful. He waved his hand and said, "The sun, the moon, and the stars are objects of the heavenly Tao. They have long become the laws of a realm. How can such a supreme law be formed into a demon spirit?" At this point, Xiao Hua suddenly realized something. He glanced at the swift cherry Grand Sage and asked meaningfully, "Divine Mother Peacock, why didn't you mention this in the Peacock Palace? Did you just find out?" Sigh. Divine Mother Peacock nodded and sighed. "Indeed. I just rushed over to ask about the origin of the original realm. The swift cherry Grand Sage. Only then did I mention it. The swift cherry Grand Sage is so calculative." Xiao Hua smiled and said, "He has already made countless preparations." The swift cherry Grand Sage's gaze was extremely complicated. He glanced at Xiao Hua and did not explain. Then, the two seemingly obedient ears on the top of his head waved. Swoosh swoosh. Two soft sounds were heard. On the silver fuso tree under the swift cherry Grand Sage's feet, 2 layers of silver light curtains suddenly rolled up and rushed toward Xiao Hua and the others. At the same time, on the golden fuso tree, 2 layers of golden light curtains rolled up. The gold and silver were like the yin and yang of the spirit-slaying vital light. Instantly, the space where Xiao Hua and the others were was completely covered. A murderous aura came from the light curtains. Even the black light of the 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper was blocked by these 4 layers of light curtains. Xiao Hua was naturally prepared for the swift cherry Grand Sage's attack. However, he did not expect the swift cherry Grand Sage to use the foundation of the original realm, the fuso tree. Moreover, this attack was a fatal one. Damn it! Xiao Hua cursed in his heart. He immediately slammed his palm on the top of his head, preparing to release more than 109th tribulation scattered nascent soul cultivators to fight the swift cherry Grand Sage to the death. However, just before 40% of the light curtains closed, the swift cherry Grand Sage's voice was heard again. Sigh. Xiao Sheng, don't be anxious. I just want to show you the methods of the original realm. I have no special ill intentions. Following the swift cherry Grand Sage's voice, the gold and silver curtains rolled up again and fell into their respective fuso trees. The entire space was once again covered by black and silver light. Xiao Hua put his hand down and pinched his chin, watching the swift cherry Grand Sage quietly decompose. Indeed, after a while, the swift cherry Grand Sage finally spoke. Xiao Sheng. What Xian Xian said earlier was for me to hear, but in fact, it was also what I wanted Xiao Sheng and the other sages to know. After all, the 10,000 demon realm is the 10,000 demon realm of the demon spirit realm, not the 10,000 demon realm of the human clan. If the human clan comes to the 10,000 demon realm, they will definitely disrupt the order of the 10,000 demon realm. Therefore, both Xian Xian and I have concerns about this. However, Xian Xian wants to take this opportunity to kill all of you. As for me, I remember what the Peacock Divine Mother said. I don't want to cause too much trouble, so I didn't agree. Although I didn't agree, I had no reason to stop Xian Xian. That was why I lured the Radiant Phoenix King and the Peacock Divine Mother into the mulberry tree. The Fuso tree is called Fuso, but it is actually the Fuso tree and the mulberry tree. These two trees are the foundation of the original realm. At the same time, they are the source that gave birth to Xian Xian Supreme Sage and me. Under my feet is the mulberry tree of the Valley of Rushing Current. Under Xian Xian Supreme Sage's feet is the Fuso tree of the Valley of Rushing Current. When the Fuso tree and the mulberry tree close, everything in the Valley of Rushing Current will be destroyed. There will be no accidents. Xian Xian tried to persuade me earlier to use the power of closing. Moreover, to be honest with Xiao Sheng and the other sages, Xian Xian saw the dragon clan in the Gale Abyss and knew that Xiao Sheng must have brought the human clan over. After we returned, we sent the demon clan to the spiritual realm and the three wastelands to search for them. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage explained unhurriedly. If it was just the dragon clan, we might be able to tolerate it. However, the human clan. Absolutely not. Chapter 48-42. As for Xian Xian's life. The Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage glanced at the shrunken Xian Xian Supreme Sage and said, "In the 10,000 demon realm, in the Valley of Tang, no one can kill Xian Xian, not even the Great Extinguishing Celestial Dipper. The Great Extinguishing Celestial Dipper can only kill the three-legged golden crow form and the vast sun of the 10,000 demon realm. However, if Xian Xian is destroyed now, the vast sun of the 10,000 demon realm will lose its color. The 10,000 demon realm will experience a great change in the weather and fall into an unpredictable catastrophe. 100,000 years or even 1,000,000 years later, when the purple sun soul is formed, another purple sun will rise in the sky of the 10,000 demon realm and another Xian Xian Supreme Sage will appear. When that happens, the catastrophe of Xiao Sheng killing Xian Xian will disappear. Damn it. Xiao Hua's expression changed. He looked at the three-legged golden crow and then at the jade rabbit and cursed, "Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage, are you threatening me?" "It's not a threat." The Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage's expression did not change. "I'm just telling you the reason and the consequences. I believe the Moon God's messenger will make a wise decision." Moon God's messenger? The Peacock Divine Mother and the Colored Phoenix King were stunned. They looked at Xiao Hua and then at the Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage in confusion. Unfortunately, neither Xiao Hua nor the Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage explained. They only looked at each other quietly as if they were considering each other's bottom line. After an entire incense stick's worth of time, Xiao Hua finally opened his mouth and said, "You seem to be very certain that I will stop." "That's right." The Fast Cherry Grand Sage nodded. A warrior who has shouldered the burden of the lives of billions of creatures in a realm is not only capable of facing any danger head-on, but also capable of judging other people by their own standards. Xiao Hua shook his head. "Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage, you think too highly of me. I've already explained to Xian Xian Supreme Sage that I'm a human. I don't care about the lives of demons. You can ignore it, but what about Phoenix Sage and Phoenix Sage?" The Rapid Cherry Supreme Sage turned to Feng Wu and Huang Tong and asked, "There must be demons from the 3 continents in the 10,000 demon realm, right? If Grand Sage Nuo Xian is killed, these demons will also be wiped out by the catastrophe of the 10,000 demons realm. What's the point of bringing them here?" Speaking up to this point, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage's tone became even more serious as he looked at Xiao Hua and said, "The human race's physical body is even worse than the demon race's. In a lifetime of calamity, the human race will perish in less than 3 days. Xiao Sheng, you worked so hard to bring the human clan to the 10,000 demon realm, is this what you want? If the demon spirits of the 10,000 demon realm found them, wouldn't they also perish?" Xiao Hua knew that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage wanted to bargain, so he decided to give the Swift Cherry Grand Sage a way out. Of course, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage was also waiting for this opportunity. Without any hesitation, she said, the news of the human race appearing in the 10,000 demon realm is only known to me and Ma Yingxian. Furthermore, I can also ask the demon spirits to return. Just this alone is not enough to dispel this Xiao's doubts. Xiao Hua smiled and said, if the Swift Cherry Grand Sage promises, oh, it must also be the profound Grand Sage's promise that the human race, the demon race, and even the dragon race can flourish in the 10,000 demon realm, only then will I be willing to consider. No problem. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage replied without hesitation, I swear on the moon god's life that I will allow Xiao Sheng, Phoenix Sage, and all the other saints to bring the human race and the demon race into the 10,000 demon realm to flourish. Hiss. Xiao Hua sucked in a breath of cold air. He only wanted the Swift Cherry Grand Sage to promise, he did not force her to swear on the moon god's name. He knew very well how shameful it was to be forced to swear on the moon god's name. Swift Cherry Grand Sage. Xiao Hua hurriedly called out, why do you have to do this? Sigh, it's nothing much. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage sighed, when Ma Yingxian was discussing with me earlier, should have been firm in my words. The survival of the human race is the survival of the human race, and the great saints of the human race are the great saints of the human race. My attitude back then was not firm enough, and now I can only ask for humiliation. I can't blame anyone else. Xiao Hua was speechless. At this point, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage's attitude left him with no choice but to let go. Ma Yingxian Grand Sage. Xiao Hua looked at the Ma Yingxian Grand Sage and asked, I also hope to have a promise from the great saint. The killing intent of the 10,000 extinguishing heavenly dipper was too ferocious, and the Ma Yingxian Grand Sage's demon body was already trembling. Hearing Xiao Hua's words, the Ma Yingxian Grand Sage did not hesitate and said, I promise to be like the Swift Cherry Grand Sage. I will not harass the human race, the demon race, the dragon race, etc. All right. Xiao Hua nodded and looked at the heavenly Tao, fellow heavenly Tao, please. Before Xiao Hua could finish, Huang Tong hurriedly stopped him, fellow Taoist Xiao, don't be anxious. Have you forgotten why we came to the original realm? It's very simple. If the Ma Yingxian Grand Sage does not know, then the Swift Cherry Grand Sage might not know either. Xiao Hua stopped and looked at the Swift Cherry Grand Sage with a smile, if the Swift Cherry Grand Sage knows, you will definitely tell me, right? Unfortunately, Xiao Hua's thinking was too simple. After the Swift Cherry Grand Sage heard this, she shook her head slightly and said, I know the space passage from the 10,000 demon realm to other realms. I also asked the Peacock Divine Mother just now and know the approximate direction of the so-called Dawn Rain continent. Similarly, I also know that there may be a space passage that leads to that direction, but I can't tell you. Ah. Xiao Hua was ecstatic at first, but then he was stunned and asked curiously, Why? It's very simple. The Swift Cherry Grand Sage seemed to have grasped Xiao Hua's weakness. She did not hide anything from him and said, because that space passage that may exist is stable. It can go from the 10,000 demon realm to the Dawn Rain continent, and it can also go from the Dawn Rain continent to the 10,000 demon realm. If I tell Xiao Xing about this space passage, the human race will definitely come to the 10,000 demon realm through this space passage. The human race that Xiao Xing brought will already cause waves in the 10,000 demon realm. I cannot tolerate more humans invading the 10,000 demon realm. In the end, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage used the word invading to describe her concern for the human race. It was obvious that she was not at ease with the human race's character. I can swear. Xiao Hua could understand the Swift Cherry Grand Sage's feelings. After all, there were several continents in his space. He would never send the world-destroying monster worm into them. Therefore, he hurriedly said, I will never reveal this space passage. I can trust Xiao Sheng, but I can't trust others. The swift cherry grand sage shook her head. Xiao Sheng will definitely reveal himself when he returns to the Dawn Rain continent. There will definitely be powerful people who will discover this space passage. Isn't it just a space passage? Is it so troublesome? The celestial being could not help but roar, are you going to tell me or not? If you don't tell me, I'll kill this bald crow. Go ahead, great sage. The swift cherry grand sage did not say anything else. Her body flashed with moonlight and she slowly fell into the silver fusang tree. Her faint voice still lingered in the black light. One Shi Xian Supreme Sage cannot compare to the entire 10,000 demon realm. If you have a choice, I have a choice too. If you can bear it, I can bear it too. Damn it, damn it. The celestial being raised his hand in anger and was about to activate the 10,000 destruction celestial dipper. Sigh. Xiao Hua sighed and looked extremely helpless. He waved his hand and said, don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Fellow celestial being, please stop. Sigh. Huang Tong also sighed. She looked left and right. Whether it was Feng Wu or Taoist witch, their faces were filled with deep helplessness. Even Demon Supremacy Shi's ferocious face had a thoughtful expression. We are on the Saint rankings. With the strength of 9 people, we can dominate the 10,000 demon realm. Xiao Hua's heart had already calmed down. She said lightly, even if it's the 2 great sages of the origin tribe, we can still kill them. Furthermore, we are responsible for the lives of billions of living beings in the 3 continents. We can also use it as justice and force the swift cherry grand sage to reveal the secret of the space passage. After all, we are not doing this for our own interests, but for the sake of all living beings. However, the demons of the 10,000 demon realm are all living beings in the eyes of the swift cherry grand sage. We cannot base our survival on the deaths of other living beings. Although, the reason that the swift cherry grand sage is saying is just a joke in our ears. That's right. Only by respecting each other can we survive. Huang Tong agreed. Don't do to others what you don't want done to you. Demon Supremacy Shi shook his head and said, I don't understand, I don't understand. Fellow Taoist Xiao, should we release him? The celestial being was also somewhat hesitant. Release him. Xiao Hua roared angrily. However, that roar was filled with unwillingness, indignation, and unyielding. The celestial being opened his mouth. With a roar, the tricolored true light spat out and landed on the 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper. The 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper roared and slowly retracted the black light. Then, it fell back into the celestial being's stomach. The Xian Xian Grand Sage flew out of the 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper. He looked rather pathetic. However, he was not in a hurry to return to the golden fusang tree. Instead, he lifted one of his legs and the golden light broke through the sky. The chaotic hot liquid formed a whirlpool and an oval-shaped space passage appeared in the middle of the whirlpool. The black light of the 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper retracted. The colorful Phoenix King and Divine Mother Peacock also flew up from the silver fusang tree and landed beside Xiao Hua and the rest. Divine Mother Peacock's face was filled with helplessness while the colorful Phoenix King was even more terrified. Thank you for your trouble. Xiao Hua clasped his fists and said, I am eternally grateful. We don't dare. Divine Mother Peacock hurriedly returned the greeting. She flew up and said, Sage Xiao, please. Goodbye. Xiao Hua clasped his fists towards the Xian Xian Grand Sage and glanced at the silver fusang tree. Lightning appeared around his body and he flew into the space passage. After Feng Wu and the rest had left, the colorful Phoenix King was the last to fly away. As he watched the hot liquid gradually shrink, the tense expression on the Xian Xian Grand Sage's face gradually disappeared. He raised his head and looked at the tranquil silver fusang tree. He also sighed and spread his wings and landed on the golden Fusang tree. Boom! Countless rays of golden light appeared from the Fusang tree and rushed into the demon body of the Xian Xian Grand Sage like a stream of water. The Xian Xian Grand Sage had already been reduced to the level of a Star Master by the 10,000 extinguishing celestial dipper. And was slowly recovering. Chapter 48-43. Big Brother. Seeing that they had reached the end of the space tunnel, Demon Venerable Shi was still puzzled. Are we going to leave just like that? That little rabbit obviously knows the space tunnel to the Dawn Rain continent. Xiao Hua's face was as calm as water. He did not speak. Although he had decided not to interrogate the Swift Cherry Grand Sage, he was still depressed. After all, the Swift Cherry Grand Sage had exaggerated the danger of the human race entering the 10,000 demon realm. This made him feel very uncomfortable, especially since he had already spent dozens of years in the 10,000 demon realm. He only needed to use force to obtain the tunnel to the Dawn Rain continent. If he lost this opportunity, he would not know where to start and how long it would take to reach the Dawn Rain continent. However, Xiao Hua wasn't willing to do this little bit of force, this little bit of going beyond his principles. Obtaining the information that he wanted by hook or by crook would definitely save the billions of lives on the 3 continents. It seemed like this righteousness was indeed greater than the righteousness that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage was obsessed with. However, when he thought about how the Swift Cherry Grand Sage was willing to throw away the face of a great sage and swear in front of him, Xiao Hua could not underestimate this righteousness. That stubbornness in anyone's heart wasn't any lighter than the stubbornness of other people, and it wasn't any lighter than the stubbornness of a country or a world. If they couldn't even respect this stubbornness, Xiao Hua felt that it wouldn't matter if the human race was destroyed. What do you know? Huang Tong had experienced a lot. He understood the contradiction in Xiao Hua's heart very well. He scolded, no matter how Taoist Xiao decides, he has his reasons. Big brothers, if you don't want to be the bad guy, then let me be the bad guy. Demon Venerable Shi said solemnly. Anyway, I am a demon. I have no reputation to consider. Sigh, you still don't understand. Xiao Hua sighed. Compared to the life and death of billions of lives in the 3 continents, this Xiao's reputation is nothing. However, if I force a great saint from another world to make a choice that goes against her will, this Xiao feels that it is not appropriate. Taoist Xiao will never be a hero. Feng Wu also shook his head. If Grand Mist Ancestor was here, there would not be such trouble. Yes, he is him, I am me, and you. Will also be you in the future. Xiao Hua let out a long sigh. I feel that the Swift Cherry Grand Sage's words are somewhat reasonable, so I made this choice. You might not understand, but this is who I am. Whoosh! Light and shadow flashed in front of Xiao Hua and the others' eyes. In the blink of an eye, they found themselves in the skies of the Origin race. Holy Mother Peacock, who was in the lead, had already spread her wings and stopped in the distance. She was looking up at the sky. It was noon, and the sun was shining brightly. However, the sun in the sky had actually shrunk by 30%. The golden radiance that scattered over the earth had also weakened by more than 50%. A slightly cold feeling involuntarily emerged from the bottom of Xiao Hua's heart. Many thanks for Xiao Xing's mercy. Behind Xiao Hua, the colorful Phoenix King said in a low voice. Sigh. Xiao Hua released his divine thoughts and sensed the power of the stars and moon in the nearby space. He sighed and said, the mistake has been made. Fortunately, the sun is slowly recovering. Perhaps in less than 1,000 years, the 10,000 demon realm will return to its original state. The colorful Phoenix King nodded and comforted him. You can't blame Xiao Xing for this. After Holy Mother Peacock and I entered, we met the Swift Cherry Grand Sage. We thought that Xiao Xing and the others would be personally received by the profound 2 Supreme Sage, but we did not expect things to turn out this way. Thank you for your trouble on this trip to the Origin Realm. Xiao Hua's face did not show any joy. He saluted the colorful Phoenix King and Holy Mother Peacock and said, "This time, not only did I offend the profound two Supreme Sage, but I also implicated the two of you. If you have any errands in the future, as long as I can help, please do not hesitate to ask." With Xiao Hua's promise, the colorful Phoenix King was overjoyed. This was a great sage who was even more powerful than the profound two Supreme Sage. She concealed the smile in her heart and said, "It would be best if we could help Xiaosheng. However, the problem is that Holy Mother Peacock and I do not know the passageway to the Dawn Rain continent. We can't help at all." Xiao Hua's heart skipped a beat. He smiled and said, "Since we have already said this, I also have something to entrust you with." As soon as Xiao Hua said this, the colorful Phoenix King immediately understood. She hurriedly smiled and said, "Don't worry, Saint Xiao. Not to mention Saint Xiao, even if Saint Phoenix and Saint Phoenix were here, I would definitely take care of the human race, demon race, and dragon race in the 3 continents." "That's good." Xiao Hua saluted and said, "I will take my leave. I hope that I will not see the colorful Phoenix King again. Goodbye, goodbye. I also hope that Xiaosheng, Phoenix Sage, and the other great sages can successfully find the spatial passageway to the Dawn Rain continent." After the colorful Phoenix King said this, she flapped her wings and flew into the sky to wait for Holy Mother Peacock. After Holy Mother Peacock expressed her gratitude, she did not speak. When the colorful Phoenix King flew away, she stepped forward and said, "Xiaosheng, Namo Maitreya Buddha, I am powerless. Please forgive me." "It's okay." Xiao Hua forced a smile and said, "Holy Mother Peacock has already done too much for us. Furthermore, in the original realm today, Holy Mother Peacock was too biased towards us. We must be wary of the profound two Supreme Sage in the future. This is nothing." Holy Mother Peacock nodded and said, "After today's events, the colorful Phoenix King will definitely follow me. Furthermore, the colorful Phoenix King has a very good relationship with the Swift Cherry Supreme Sage. The Phoenix Holy World may not be afraid of the profound two Supreme Sage." "That's good." Xiao Hua waved his hand and said, "Holy Mother Peacock, return to the Peacock Palace with the colorful Phoenix King as soon as possible." "Where do you plan to go now, Xiaosheng?" Holy Mother Peacock could not help but ask. "The Origin Cave." Xiao Hua answered without hesitation that the Origin Cave was generally not marked in the 10,000 demon realms boundary sense. This was because if one did not have the strength of an Earth rank expert, one would definitely not approach it. And if one did not have the strength of an Earth rank expert, one would definitely not go deep. Of course, there was no void black path from the Origin tribe to the Origin Cave. After Xiao Hua asked about the location of the Origin Cave, he used the Origin tribe spatial portal to get close to the Origin Cave. Then, he activated his spatial escape technique and arrived at the edge of the Origin Cave. Before he could fly out of the void, an extremely messy, storm-like spatial turbulence blew from all over the void. This spatial turbulence was the power of heaven and earth. Even with Xiao Hua and Huang Tong's abilities, they did not dare to resist it. They could only borrow the momentum to escape from the void. Xiao Hua's figure had just appeared when a gust of wind blew. Waves of wind blades that were sharper than flying swords slashed at Xiao Hua's body. What was special was that there were actually some spatial cracks mixed within these wind blades. The wind blades might not be able to pose a threat to Xiao Hua's golden body, but when these spatial cracks landed on Xiao Hua's golden body, not only did they show some slight cracks, but they also gave rise to a piercing pain. Boom! Huang Tong flapped her wings and swept away the gust of wind. Then, she looked at the surging wind between heaven and earth and laughed, "This time, we will not be wrong." "Yes." Xiao Hua released his divine sense and looked for a moment. He nodded and said, "The surrounding is filled with chaotic spatial laws. The void cannot be formed. If this is not the origin cave, where is it? Huang Tong's phoenix eyes flashed with golden light. She looked in a different direction from Xiao Hua. Then, she said, but if it is like what Divine Mother Peacock said, this origin cave is almost boundless. It is the edge of the 10,000 demon realms boundary. How can we find the spatial passage to the Dawn Rain continent? The area that colorful Phoenix King knows is definitely not the origin cave. The area that Divine Mother Peacock knows is definitely not the origin cave. We have already ruled out many areas. We can only search in the remaining areas. Xiao Hua's mouth was bitter. After he finished speaking, he gritted his teeth and added, if in the last 10 years. We still can't find it, then. Then we can only return to the origin realm. Sigh. Huang Tong hesitated for a moment and did not say the words, if you knew it would be like this, why did you do it in the first place? However, she also knew that even if she did not say it, Xiao Hua would definitely understand. Let's go. There is always some hope. Xiao Hua did not say anything. He waved his hand and looked around. Then, he stepped in a direction. At this time, they had already reached the edge of the origin cave. The spatial laws began to become chaotic. Not only could they not use the spatial escape technique casually, but even ordinary spatial escape techniques were greatly affected. Moreover, as Xiao Hua and Huang Tong went deeper, countless spatial vortexes were born in the origin cave. A strong suction and repulsive force emerged from these spatial vortexes. The chaotic forces intertwined in the origin cave. The already thin heaven and earth origin chi was torn apart. Even the most abundant power of the stars and moon in the 10,000 demon realm was also crushed. In the face of such power of heaven and earth, even someone as strong as Huang Tong could not help but feel dizzy. It was difficult to find the right direction in this chaotic origin cave. However, it just so happened that Xiao Hua, who had no sense of direction, seemed to be in the void when he arrived at this place. He ignored the chaos around him. Although he couldn't avoid the spatial vortexes that occasionally appeared, he was very clear about where he was and which direction he should go. After flying for a while, the entire origin cave was already somewhat chaotic. The spatial vortexes were no longer just circular. Square, oval, and quadrangular shapes were all revealed. There were even many spatial vortexes that were connected together. They were shaped like mountain ranges. It looked extremely spectacular. Who is it? Xiao Hua was flying when he suddenly stopped. His gaze fell on a string of spatial vortexes that looked like a tree. He asked coldly. Ga. Huang Tong let out a clear cry. She spread her wings and flew over a small spatial vortex. Her demon body landed on one end of the spatial vortex. When she saw the demon spirit there, Huang Tong was obviously stunned. She asked curiously, "Oh. Why is it you? Hee, why can't it be this saint?" As Huang Tong's voice fell, Fire Phoenix King's figure spread out. She flew out from the spatial vortex and looked at Huang Tong and Xiao Hua with a smile. Chapter 48-44. Fire Phoenix King. Why are you here? Xiao Hua was also surprised. He looked at Fire Phoenix King in confusion. Fire Phoenix King smiled and said, "I'm here to tell Xiao Sheng and Huang Sheng about the space passage in the Dawn Rain continent." Hearing Fire Phoenix King's words, Xiao Hua really felt like he was at the end of the road. He almost couldn't believe his ears and asked, "What? You know about the space passage to the Dawn Rain continent?" "Yes, why didn't you say so earlier?" Huang Tong was also confused. Although the Fire Phoenix King had already appeared, she still looked hesitant. She replied, "To be honest with Xiao Sheng and Huang Sheng, I don't know if this passageway is located in the Dawn Rain continent. However, from how much the Swift Cherry Supreme Sage values it, it should be related to the Dawn Rain continent." the Dawn Rain Continent. Xiao Hua took a deep breath. He believed Fire Phoenix King's words a little more. However, he still asked, "What do you mean?" "Actually." Fire Phoenix King smiled and said, "When Xiao Sheng showed off his power in the Gale Abyss, I was not in the spiritual realm. I was entrusted by the Dawn Rain Continent I came to the Origin Cave to find out some secrets that only she knew about. Of course, she did not tell me what the secrets were, and I did not intend to ask. However, when I heard that Xiao Sheng and Huang Sheng wanted to go to the Dawn Rain Continent, I suddenly realized that this place is related to the Dawn Rain Continent. It must be because Xiao Sheng and the others broke through the realm and attracted the Dawn Rain Continent's attention. She sent me here to take a look." "I understand." Xiao Hua cupped his hands and said, "That's why Fire Phoenix King asked me to go to the Origin Realm to ask the Dawn Rain Continent. I thank you. Sigh, it's a pity that the Dawn Rain Continent did not agree, so I wanted to hide this from you." Fire Phoenix King sighed and said, "However, after thinking about it, I felt that Xiao Sheng, Huang Sheng, and even the Phoenix King would rather fall into the strange realm than return to the Dawn Rain Continent to save billions of lives. Such a feat. I had to help, so I waited here." "Oh. Fire Phoenix King wants to do something the rushing Cherry Grand Sage doesn't want to see?" Huang Tong couldn't believe it. "Hee, of course, I won't tell you the exact location of the passageway." Fire Phoenix King smiled. "Also, I would like to ask Phoenix Saint a question. As long as Phoenix Saint can tell me, I will tell you where it is." "No problem, Fire Phoenix King, please speak." Huang Tong agreed without hesitation. "I heard that not long after Huang Sheng appeared in the 10,000 demon realm, the colorful Phoenix King sent thousands of Phoenix envoys to the Bo wasteland to welcome Huang Sheng. I wonder how she knew about Huang Sheng's appearance. And why is she looking for Huang Sheng?" Fire Phoenix King's question was not out of Huang Tong and Xiao Hua's expectations. Huang Tong smiled and said, "It's very simple. It's because colorful Phoenix King has seen the saint rankings and knows that we have appeared. As for how she knew we were in the wasteland, that's not something we can know. As for why she came to us, she didn't make it clear. She only asked if Huang Sheng and Feng Xing knew her, if it was him, and who was him. As for why colorful Phoenix King is looking for him, she didn't say." Xiao Hua didn't hesitate and directly answered, "Phoenix Sage and Phoenix Sage naturally aren't that, so they were also confused. I was in a hurry to return to Dawn Rain Continent, so I tactfully declined the invitation of the colored Phoenix King to head to Phoenix Shrine." So that's how it is." Xiao Hua didn't understand who the colorful Phoenix King was referring to, but Fire Phoenix King understood immediately. "Who is this him?" Huang Tong asked curiously. How could Fire Phoenix King tell him? Just as she was about to refuse, she suddenly had a thought and smiled. "Phoenix Envoy can ask, but after I tell you, Phoenix Saint has to promise me one thing." How could Huang Tong be fooled? He smiled and said, "If that's the case, then forget it." Then I won't say more." Fire Phoenix King smiled and whispered. Xiao Hua's heart moved and asked, "Can Fire Phoenix King tell me what Phoenix Saint has to promise?" "It's nothing." Fire Phoenix King hesitated for a moment and said, "I just want to tell you about him and ask you to kill him when you see him." Forget it, forget it." Hearing this, Xiao Hua waved his hand and said, "We don't even know who him is, so how can we kill him? Let's not talk about this. It's nothing." Fire Phoenix King smiled when she heard this. That him is most likely dead, or else colorful Phoenix King would have found him long ago. "Damn it!" Huang Tong scolded, "It's up to you whether you want to say it or not, but why do you always swallow your words? This is a serious matter, and it's not something you and I can get involved in." Fire Phoenix King said hurriedly. "Rather than knowing, it's better not to know." I didn't say it because I was thinking for Xiao Sheng and Phoenix Saint. We are going to the Dawn Rain continent anyway, so these secrets are nothing. Xiao Hua said with a smile. It's just an old human with the surname One. Fire Phoenix King said anxiously. Even I don't know what he looks like. An old human with the surname One. Fire Phoenix King didn't mean it, but Xiao Hua was interested. He immediately thought of the celestial emissary from the celestial realm. It seemed that in the 10,000 demon realm, other than this Shen human, he had never seen any other human race. Could it be that this old human with the surname Wen had the same origin as the immortal emissary with the surname Shen? What surname Wen and Li? Huang Tong said impatiently. We have never seen them before. Fire Phoenix King, quickly tell us the location of that place. Okay. Fire Phoenix King got what she wanted to know, so she wasn't stingy. She raised her phoenix claw and pointed into the distance. That place is in that direction. As for where and how far it is, forgive me for not being able to say. I hope Xiao Sheng and Phoenix Saint are lucky enough. Goodbye. With that, Fire Phoenix King didn't stay any longer. She spread her wings and flew into the sky, disappearing in an instant. Damn it, what's the difference between that and not saying anything? Huang Tong scolded in a low voice. Fire Phoenix King's move, who knows how many regions fell into it? Xiao Hua didn't answer. Instead, he looked at the place where Fire Phoenix King disappeared. He stroked his chin and said, it seems that Fire Phoenix King is very familiar with this space. He came here more than once, so he could escape into the void and avoid the attack of the void storm. Huang Tong understood what Xiao Hua was saying and agreed. He has long wanted to use what we know to find out the secret of Fire Phoenix King. That's why he didn't go to the original realm but stayed nearby. He must have seen Divine Mother Peacock or Fire Phoenix King earlier and knew that we came to the Origin Cave. That's why he made this deal with us before we did. The problem is that he has a good impression of the Swift Cherry Grand Sage. How could he do something against the Swift Cherry Grand Sage? Xiao Hua still didn't understand. Ha! Huang Tong laughed and pointed into the distance with her wings. With just a point, who knows where the so-called space passage is? And Fire Phoenix King said it clearly. He is just guessing and can't be taken seriously. Using this kind of meaningless information in exchange for Fire Phoenix King's secret, isn't that better than anything else? That old man surnamed Wen, is he also a celestial envoy in human form? Xiao Hua frowned. Who knows? Huang Tong shrugged. This has nothing to do with us. Let's hurry and find the space passage. We have to find it wherever we go. Why don't we go in that direction? Xiao Hua looked in the direction Fire Phoenix King pointed and smiled. Let's go. Although I don't believe Fire Phoenix King, I also believe that he can't set up any traps. Huang Tong flapped her wings and rushed into the gap between the whirlpools. Unfortunately, Huang Tong couldn't see Fire Phoenix King in the void. Otherwise, she would be able to see some clues from Fire Phoenix King's smile. The Origin Cave was really boundless. Even if there was no problem with the direction Fire Phoenix King pointed, as Xiao Hua and Huang Tong went deeper, strange space whirlpools began to appear from time to time. The suction of these space whirlpools was just like what Peacock Mother said. Sometimes it was so strong that it was impossible to resist. Xiao Hua and Huang Tong were lucky enough to escape from danger several times. However, after flying in for more than 10 days, they didn't see the space passage Fire Phoenix King mentioned. Helpless, Xiao Hua put Huang Tong back into his body. At the same time, he asked Feng Wu, Thunder Immortal, and the others to come out of the space and enter their bodies. If they encountered multiple space passages and couldn't avoid them, they would each enter one and leave it to fate. On this day, Xiao Hua had just used the thunder escape technique to avoid a space crack that was tens of thousands of feet wide. Before he could catch his breath, he saw that the space crack was shrinking and suddenly, violently swelled. This swelling was different from the space crack. It was like boiling water that covered the entire origin cave. Oh no! Xiao Hua was shocked. Because in this swelling, the strong power of the realm ruthlessly seeped out. It was like a guillotine that blocked him from all sides. However, before Xiao Hua could use the thunder escape technique to escape into the gap of the realm power, he saw that within 10,000 miles of the space, 9 knot-like things appeared. Above these knots, 9 huge space cracks were entangled together like pythons. One end of these space cracks went straight into the depths of the origin cave. In the light, the silhouettes of some mountains and forests were revealed. This is a space vein. When Xiao Hua saw this, he couldn't help but be overjoyed. However, this space vein seems to be tangled together. Could this be the space passage to the Dawn Rain continent? Fire Phoenix King didn't lie to us.